Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Joshi. My name is Matt Turner, and folks, I'm joined by a man that I'm sure in his local mall has a shop called Lids. He's a big fan of the new Anthrax song. It's for the kids.
There we
One
go.
Andy Header. Andy Header, I really
Ah.
stretched on that one. They all can't be winners, but yeah, that's what I came up with. I definitely wanted to put over the new Anthrax song. It's for the kids. The only thing I could think of
It's good.
is was either Sid or Lids, the hat place in the mall. So, but how we doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Lids. I'm like, where are we going with that? I have actually never been in a Lids. I would walk by one, so and we don't have one locally. Well, I guess maybe in Reading we do. So that would be about half an hour away. But I'm doing good. That Anthrax song is very good. And I checked the other day, and there still isn't a new song, a second song. But I would assume there soon will be because they seem to do that now with album releases. Is you get one, you get another one, and then you get like up to like four, and then you gotta wait for the whole rest of the album to come out. But I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, buddy. I'm fantastic. I just literally just got done podcasting with the Gerpster, talking
Mm.
about some stardom. Obviously, me and you will be talking about some stardom
Mm-hmm.
wrestlers that are going to be doing a whole bunch of shows over
Yeah.
here in America. So, yeah, I'm doing fantastic. It just started to cool down a little bit. It was pretty hot, but now it's starting to get overcast. We always get a little weather talk on here, buddy. We always
Yeah.
get nice little weather talk. But
We
no,
are
bro,
in an area where we get crazy weather. Like it could be extreme changes from one day to the next.
yeah. So no, brother, I'm always doing good. No bad days don't exist. I'm excited that I'll be going to the ECW arena this week, and unfortunately, we'll not be going with you. We've been talking about it for
Mm-hmm.
about a month that we're going, and then I actually mentioned on the Stardom Cast earlier this week is that I had a little blooper. I went to go get the tickets, and I thought the shows were Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, you're wrestling on Saturday, so couldn't make that one.
No.
So Andy Head was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go with you on Sunday." I was like, "Great, we got our meet and greet tickets for Sai Kamatani Arena. Andy Header's gonna meet probably the best wrestler on planet Earth
Yeah.
right now, one Sai Kamatani." Then I realized the show is Friday and Saturday, and I
Yeah.
just put my wrestling brain on because they're doing two shows in Philly, one show in New York. So you figure if you're doing three shots during the end of the week, it's usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but they're doing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So unfortunately, Mr. Header, I will on air apologize for my
Yeah.
blooper and
It's
the fact me
okay.
and you've been looking at that flyer for the last like 3 weeks
And
and still
and
never
think
put one together.
Yeah, I didn't think two things. Like, why would I think any different? Wrestling is always Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like cons, but no, that's it's a 4-day con: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I didn't think it was Thursday. I just assumed it was Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we would go on Sunday and I'd meet Sai Kamatani, and yeah, best wrestler in the world, and get a picture and be awesome, get something signed, anything, 8 by 10, whatever. But not gonna happen. Yeah, unfortunately, I gotta defend a title on Saturday, so I can't make it the Saturday show either. But hey, hopefully she'll be back around soon. So it didn't work out this time. Maybe next time. But Court Bauer and MLW running Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Who does that?
I don't know, but I hope they do well. I did tell you before we hit
Yeah,
the
me
record
too.
button. Looks like the ECW arena is just about sold out. So that's going to be awesome.
Hmm.
Speaking of cons, Andy Hatter, I had a little birdie tell me you were at a local con dressed as
Yeah, how
Daredevil, and
about that?
you ran into a very a very interesting individual, as I'll say
Hmm.
that an acquaintance of mine. So tell me, how was Lehigh Valley Comic Con, and what was your experience meeting the legendary Paulie?
The legendary Paulie. So I didn't know his name or anything like that at first, but
He
I
doesn't
can.
work there. They basically call him the security. I see him there every now and again. He's always in the back room. He's I'm sure you figured out he's a character.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I got from my little interaction with him. So Lehigh Valley Comic Con, it's a great smaller con, and it's weird because we're so used to New York Comic Con that anything smaller than New York is smaller to us. A lot of people are like, "What are you saying? I wasn't small. It was big." And I was like, "Well," but I mean, for a smaller con, it was only like 20 to get in. But what they did is they gave you a 2-day pass, and it worked for Saturday, and it worked for Sunday. So basically, you pay for Saturday, get Sunday free. I didn't go back Sunday; I just went Saturday. But it was cool. They had Optimus and Megatron from I think the third Transformers movie, like the full actual trucks that are there, because they're in the Mac Museum, which is nearby in Emmaus or Makunji, forget which one it is. But the con was good. A lot of comic pickups. We got a couple Thor books. Got some Ninja Turtles. Kelly bought some nice rugs. One's right in front of me right now. It's like an N64 cartridge of Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
That's
So there was a
cool.
lot. Yeah, they had cool rugs. They were all like the gimmick was they were your Pokemon cards, or they were covers of games, or the actual cartridge, or the CDs. So I was like, that's a cool idea. A little expensive, but buy two get one. So if you're gonna spring on something you like. But But go ahead.
I was gonna say you if you work hard, you pay your bills,
That's
enjoy.
right.
I enjoy yourself. Enjoy
Hmm.
yourself.
Get fun things. As long as you get them gimmicks in the mail they call bills. So let's get them paid. You can buy fun stuff. But yeah, the con was cool. I was Daredevil. My girlfriend Kelly was the Punisher. We had a fun time. My friend Matt Hill went with us. As a local con, it's only an hour away. You get to walk around. You get home that day. You sleep in your own bed. So that's always a plus. But the con was cool. So I went to one table and I could tell it's their shop, The Encounter in beautiful Allentown, Pennsylvania. I could tell it's them because the gimmick they do is anytime they have something for sale, they'll write down 20 in the top left corner and then a line and then whatever they mark it down to 1510 right below it. So that's how I always know it's The Encounter. So as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, it's The Encounter. And they had a great deal. I don't know if you took part of this. The comic short boxes that have the graphics on them. That there's Doctor Strange.
They have so many of those.
Yeah,
You've seen them. They literally showed me they probably have about 100 of each. I have a few of them,
wow.
but yeah, they're the actual graphic ones. But yeah,
Yeah,
so go ahead, good sir. They have so many of them.
yeah, I understand what they what they were doing there because of having so many. So what they had, them boxes usually run for $12 to $15. It's the full art boxes. There's a Spider-Man one I picked up, and I got the Secret Wars or no, DC Death Metal box. But anyway, these boxes were $6 a pop. So that's like less or more than 50% off because I think they are normally $15. I guess they're just trying to get rid of them. But man, were they selling them left and right? I bought two. Matt Hill bought two. I was like, I'm gonna go back and buy two more. I think, but then I forgot and I didn't do it. But I went up to the guy and it's like, hey, I'll get two boxes. And he says, okay. And it's like, hey, you know my one friend. He comes in the shop. It's like, oh, who? And I'm like, and I gave a shoot name, brother. And he's
Hey,
like,
Faith, I
oh, yeah,
appreciate that,
yeah,
buddy. I
yeah.
appreciate
And,
that.
and I was like, Matt Turner, and I was like, I'm his tag partner. He's like, oh, and so yeah, that was one Paulie. The other two guys were, I don't know their names. They were kind of busy because they had a huge table, and they were doing a lot of business with the action figures and the comics and everything, and the boxes for $6. So yeah, I talked to him. And I was like, yeah, just tell him, Andy, the other wrestler. And he's like, okay, I'll tell him. And then he said, hey, hold on, let me get a picture. And I posted a picture. He's like, oh, let's show him this. I'm like, cool. I was like, yeah, he's in the shop every Wednesday, man. So yeah, he knew you right away. So that was pretty cool. I was like, let me throw a little info here. I was like, maybe he'll give me a little brother, give me three boxes for $12, but that's okay. We don't.
There it is.
It
There
was
it is.
cheap enough.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and if you need any more, buddy, just let me know. I'll give you the
Okay,
brother
yeah,
discount. They're
they
great
have
again.
a ton of them.
Free shout out, free plug to the
Mm-hmm.
Encounter Comics and Game on Union Boulevard in Allentown, Pennsylvania. While we're giving out free plugs, don't forget to subscribe to the Tokyo Joshi Pod every
Mm-hmm.
episode. Our new episodes every Friday. Every Friday. My friend, I'm glad that you guys had a good time. Real quick, New York Comic Con tickets go on sale this weekend. I'm assuming you guys
Yes.
are going. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunday, I believe at 10 a.m. or maybe
I
10
think
or
he's right.
10, 11, 12. I think it's 10 a.m. But yeah, they moved it to Sunday because they used to do what, Tuesday or Wednesday, and people are doing work. They're at school. It's very hard to get to. So now they're moving it to Sunday. I mean, there's still people, at work on Sundays, but it's a little bit easier for the majority of people to get.
And no comic guests. Still no. I mean, we're 4 days out from as we're recording. I
I
mean,
don't think
no
they would have
guest.
anything at all
Anybody.
except the theme is like Coney Island themed. Other than that, it's just like, hey, New York Comic Con. It's almost like WrestleMania. It's like, come to WrestleMania. What's the matches? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're still gonna sell. They're still gonna
Yeah.
sell. But my friend, we have so much
Mm-hmm.
professional wrestling news, so much Joshi news. So we have 5 shows to cover. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the results of the 3 shows from Sendai Girls. Myself and Andy Header, we just cherry picked a few matches to actually go over.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do the same thing with Tokyo Joshi Pro. We're going to review the show from Tokyo Joshi Pro on the 30th. We're only going to talk about the last 2 matches. And then we're going to end with our main event, which is going to be we're going to go through the entire Korakuen Hall show and talk about the 4 matches that have been set up for Summer Sun Princess, which now means Andy had our interviews that we have scheduled for Tokyo Joshi Pro.
Mm-hmm.
All of the matches are scheduled so we can get all of our questions in early, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that by the time this show airs in 5 weeks, we will have all 4 of our interviews ready to rock and roll, my friend. We have,
Yeah.
to give the peel back behind the curtain, we have sent in our questions to Arisa Endo into our translator since her match was announced a few days prior to the other
Mm-hmm.
matches. So Arisa Endo looks like will probably be our first interview as we're, and again, we're so lucky that they literally announced all of the matches for Miyu Yamashita, Yuki Arai, and Suzume. So we're good. So
Yeah.
myself and Andy Hatter will probably have all those questions maybe down the next week or so. So at least this way we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm super excited for that. Super excited for so much great stuff to talk about. And let's talk
Mhm.
about what is scheduled to happen tonight. Again, as we're recording, we are a few hours away from AEW Dynamite. We do
Mhm.
have Suri still scheduled to wrestle Sky Blue. Now, I checked the Twitter page just about an hour ago, and it's still that it's going to be Suri versus Sky Blue. It was a few days ago. Suri said her neck still isn't 100%, so she's going to see if she's cleared from the AEW doctors to wrestle. But if not, she did get permission to have Takumi Roha, her
Yeah.
tag partner, in Spark Rush tag along. So worst case scenario, obviously we don't want Sari to get injured. So she's
No.
not cleared by AEW. Worst case scenario, still tonight we get Takumi Roha versus Sky Blue. And here's something else to think about too, partner, is if Sari and Sky Blue are both, excuse me, Suri and Takumi Roha are over right now. They're probably
Mhm.
over here in the United States. They probably have to be, are in the United States. And if Suri is cleared, do we see Suri and Takumi Rojas Spark Rush on
That's what I
that
was thinking.
Global Wars show next week that has Shuri versus Athena as the main event? Let's say you. What do
Okay.
you think about the Suri thing? You think she's going to be cleared? Again, they're still promoting it. And do you
Yeah.
think that there's a chance that somewhere we have Spark Rush on a show in the next week or two here in the States?
I mean, when it was announced, as the first thing I thought of was like, oh, she's bringing Takumi, which is a great replacement. I mean, we want to see Suri, but no problem. We get Takumi. But then I was thinking, well, if Sari's bringing her, right, and Sari gets cleared, well, she's still there. So what do you book her for a tag match for something? I mean, even if it's a quick squash, just to put her over, something, anything. So I'm thinking if Sari's cleared, we'll probably get some tag match somewhere. Put him in the Global War show. I mean, what can hurt? Do something. I mean, dark match, anything. So I think chance of that happening if Sari's clear is very good. She probably, as we record this, like 5:30 Eastern time. She's probably knowing now or within an hour if she can wrestle tonight because it is a live show. So yeah, I think if she's clear, we do get a tag match. Now here's a question: if she's not clear and Takumi Roja is in this, does Takumi Roja advance? And do we get maybe Takumi Roja versus Mercedes in the finals, or maybe does Athena beat Takumi Roja? Because I would assume she would beat Sky Blue, but maybe not.
Here's something else to think about. If Suri does get cleared, maybe Sky Blue beats Suri because maybe they just don't want to further the injury, even though that is the
Mm,
big dream match that both Suri,
that
Athena, and us fans
yeah.
want is Suri versus Athena. Maybe she gets cleared and they err on the side of caution, have a safer match, and have some interference from Julia Hart and Tekla, and then have Sky Blue, get the win. So that's a possibility. I mean, maybe the whole
Mhm.
entire time they were going to have Sky Blue go, get the win. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not
nothing.
privy to that information. So a lot of questions, my friend, considering the fact that I mean our predictions have gone completely out of the water with Mina
Ever
getting
since
bounced in
Willow,
round
yeah.
one. Willow don't even make the tournament. Now all of a sudden Mercedes is in, and now we got Mercedes and Hazuki. Like we'll get to that in a moment. So a lot of questions to be answered. And what I'm going to do is usually I don't do this when I'm podcasting, but I am going to have my Twitter open and I'm going to keep refreshing just to see because Tony Khan is usually pretty good if there's a
Yeah.
replacement or something just to let everybody know. So I'm going to be doing that from time to time just to make sure we're still ready to go. But my guess is that Suri is fit and Suri gets the win. That's the way I see it's going. I think if it's Takumi
Hmm.
Roja, I think they'll have Sky Blue get the win because then they'd have to keep Takumi over for
Yeah.
whenever that match is, and then they'd have to do some scheduling, and they need to get that match done before the end of the month. So we'll kind of see where all that goes, my friend. So again, regardless, still interesting whether we get Takumi
Hmm.
Roja versus Sky Blue or Sari versus Sky Blue. We haven't seen Sky Blue have a singles match in quite some time. Again, Sky Blue, very capable hand. She is a really, really fun wrestler. She has no problem doing things dangerous. And Sari and Takumi Roja are two wrestlers that have no problem doing moves to
Hmm.
wrestlers that look dangerous, but are obviously in a safe way. So, regardless, I'm really excited for AEW tonight. I'm really excited for AEW next week on my sister's birthday. So, I don't know if this was a birthday present to my sister Ashley. But next week
Who
we
won't care at
have,
all?
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna send her a message. I'm like, did you ask Tony Khan for this? She's like, who's Tony Khan?
Who's
But
Tony?
we
Yeah. Who's
do.
that Tony Khan?
What's a Tony Khan? We do have a rematch of what is, in my opinion, the greatest women's match to ever happen on American soil. Hazuki taking on Mercedes Monet. Did not have that in my prediction bracket when we did these predictions
No.
for the Owen Hart a few weeks ago by any stretch of the imagination. Again, they did have that match was about a year and a half ago back at a strong styled evolve show for Mercedes Monet. I believe it was for the IWGP Strong Championship. I might actually go back and do that as like a watch along, like just commentary only. Maybe I'll do that before I depart for Philadelphia this weekend. So I'm really looking forward to it. They had a great match back then. Hazuki really getting the push here because not only getting a kind of tune-up match, not a tune-up match, but basically a few weeks ago she had that great match with Maya World where it's just like, hey, here's Hazuki to
Hmm.
the AEW fans that have never seen her before. And I thought Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness did a great job telling everybody who Hazuki is and who Hazuki was. She has a great match with Maya World. Then she's wrestling Persephone. And I think we all thought Persephone was going to get the win here because
Yeah.
Persephone is a contracted wrestler to CMLL and AEW, has one of those dual contracts. And we know that they were putting something in place at the end of last year with Persephone and Mercedes Monet because they wrestled each other a few times, most notably in Arena Mexico in a phenomenal match that we did see Persephone get the CMLL Women's Championship back. So I kind of figured that's where they're going, but they still are. Hazuki getting the win with the Hazuki straw. I'm not gonna lie,
Hmm.
partner. I stood up on my, I'm sitting on my couch. I stood up. I looked at Amber and I go, "Son of a B!" I actually said the word. I was like, "I can't believe Hazuki won." And I was like, "Wow, we're getting Hazuki and Mercedes." Not only that, but then they shoot an angle at the end of the show with
Yeah.
Mercedes beating up Persephone to further
Hazuki
their
makes the
story.
save. Yeah.
And then Hazuki makes the save and hits that crazy Hazuki dive, and we go off air with Hazuki over Mercedes. So I was like, not only does Hazuki get the win, it's in the main event, advances in the tournament against Mercedes on free TV next week, but then gets the final hand race thing after going
Hmm.
off air. And I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the ratings that came in?
No, no, I didn't.
Hazuki and Persephone had a higher rating than NXT, the entire
Really?
NXT show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the draw, Hazuki's a
Yeah.
draw, women's wrestling's a
Wow.
draw. But man, I'm excited for all this Hazuki love that we're getting over here in the States.
It's crazy. I didn't think she was going to win. I mean, even when we did the predictions when we thought Willow was in it, we didn't know Mercedes. We just thought Hazuki would probably be out in the first round. But she beats Persephone here, top rope senton, great match. And now we know that she's not going to be in the 5 star because she, along with what, Fuchan, Siri, and who else was not in the 5 star?
Ronnie Gami.
Yeah, Ronnie Yamashita. Yeah, so they're all going to be wrestling in the States or the UK or both. So does Hazuki advance? Does she win this whole thing? Is she going to wrestle in AEW for a while now? Who knows? I mean, it's really turning this tournament into like kind of being predictable to being like wide open.
Yeah, because you can have Hazuki win here. You can have Persephone come in and distract Mercedes. Hazuki gets the win.
Hmm.
Hazuki goes to the finals because you have it again. The finals are going to take place at Forbidden Door at the end of this month in San Jose. So you can have Hazuki versus maybe a Sky Blue, Hazuki
Hmm.
versus Sari, maybe a Hazuki versus Takumi Roha, given how it's going to shake out.
Oh, you know?
Hazuki versus Athena. So I'll say that obviously Andy had our the predictions for the men bracket was so easy. Like
Yeah.
everyone you like
Will
because
Ospreay.
it's the
Yeah.
Will Osprey redemption. So you even knew who was
Hmm.
going to win every match. I'm like, and that's the way it should be. Obviously, the women's is completely turned upside down. Now,
Hmm.
give me give me your prediction of who wins tonight.
Oh
Who
boy.
wins in the set? Give me your prediction of who's taking the rest of the match. So let's go with tonight. Let's say Suri and Sky
Okay.
Blue. Who takes that?
I think if it is Serene Sky Blue, I do think Serene advances for that
Okay,
match.
so just think about this for your final for your semifinals. You have Suri versus Athena and
Yeah.
Mercedes
Ooh.
versus Suzuki.
Oh
I'm
boy.
gonna agree with you there. Literally, probably as soon as we get done recording, Takumi Roja is going to be in that match because our our,
Yeah.
our 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 predictions have gone straight out the water. So, all right, let's go with Hazuki versus Mercedes. Who takes that? Now, it's not that clear. Now that with Hazuki going to be in the States, it's and then you have this thing with
Yeah.
Persephone. It's not that clear. But who do you think
No.
who takes that one, Hazuki or Mercedes?
You would think this one's tough. You would think maybe you're leading a little more Mercedes, just because she's Mercedes and Hazuki is not a contract wrestler, but she's there for the next couple weeks. So
Next
maybe
month and
they,
change. Yeah,
yeah.
because the
So
5 star ends at the end of the summer, so she can probably might be there the next 2 months.
yeah, so she could. It wouldn't be that surprising if she wins the whole thing. I mean, depending. I mean, Tony Conway likes her. Sure, he wants to use her as much as he can. So I think I'm just gonna go a smidge more and say Mercedes wins.
I agree with you. Athena versus Suri. Again, if that's the way it goes, who
Yeah.
you got in that one? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. Go ahead.
I'm going to say Athena, and we get Athena versus Mercedes in the final. If you remember, they wrestled each other. It was either the semifinals or round one of the tournament last year, and it was probably the
Hmm.
best match, in my opinion, of the tournament. So my guess is we'll see the rematch there with Mercedes in Athena in the final at Forbidden Door.
I could see that, but I could also see Sari. But I'm thinking if you have Sari and she's healthy and she's ready to rock, I think Sari's going to win. So that way you get Mercedes, Sari in the
Oh,
finals.
Oh,
It's
I didn't even think
just
of
oh
that.
my
Oh,
yeah. I mean that's why I
whew,
think Sari will beat Athena. Great matches. I mean either way, no matter how we get there, it's gonna be good. But yeah, I think the finals is Sari and Mercedes. Now who wins that?
the fans.
I hear the fans. I don't know. I'm thinking Mercedes. Then it should be 2 years in a row. Or did Willow win it last year? I
No,
think
Mercedes won it
I
last
won
year,
last year.
and
Yeah.
then it was it Will the night before, or was it
Yeah,
Mariah
the year
May?
before. I think it was Willow the year before, and then Mariah May. It could be, or maybe it was Mariah May because she had the belt when she did the Tony Storm feud, and then she went
That's
to
right.
WWE. So
And then
yeah,
she left WWE. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah. But man, it's going to be interesting. It's going
yeah.
to be
Hmm.
interesting. It's interesting to see what obviously Tekla too calling out Stardom.
Yeah.
Not only calling out Stardom, like she went on top. She went and got a ladder out to climb up the ladder and just spit on the Stardom logo on the
Yeah.
LED board. Like that took some stuff there. And she specifically called out Teru Okada.
Hmm.
So my guess is if you're Teru Okada and you're kayfabe, you're like, yeah, I want people to kick this girl's butt. Why not send over three of your most violent wrestlers on the roster?
There you go.
Shuri, Hazuki, and Ronnie Yagami. So that would make sense. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be shocked at Forbidden Door. It's a six-person tag with the Sisters of Sin versus three
Oh, I
members
didn't
of
think of that.
Stardom.
Yeah.
Or you can have Shuri versus Tekla. But like, if I'm in a kayfabe sense, if I'm like, okay, I can send one person over to take out Tekla, not even blinking an eye. It's
Mhm.
Shuri. Like it's Shuri, right? But so what if that's the match, but then maybe on the lead up on a dynamite or a collision, you do that six-person tag. Again, you can. It's
Ooh,
all it's
yeah.
all right there. It's all
Yeah.
right there, my friend. So I'm really excited for all this stuff that we're getting with Stardom, especially in the
Hmm.
States, especially on Ring of Honor and AEW TV, my friend.
Yeah, I'm excited too. But kind of maybe spoils who Tech will be taking on because you think, well, them three are staying in the States now before Fu Chan. It's probably not going to be Fu Chan, but take Siri. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be Sai Kamatani. Like, well, they're not going to send over the top heel to defend the honor. That doesn't make any sense. Plus, it's stable, former stable mates, even though it doesn't matter now, but still, like that, it doesn't really make sense. It's going to be a big baby face. So I was like, maybe Starlight Kid, maybe Micah. That's good picks. And then I was like, well, Siri's coming over? It's probably going to be Siri. So that might be the Forbidden Door match with the six-man tag. They can lead up to it, maybe on the collision right before. Or if it's, if it's on Sunday, if it's Saturday, then never mind. But if you could do it on Dynamite. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens there. And Tekla versus Siri, that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, the 5-star Grand Prix starts on the 18th. I could have this wrong, but I think the start of the 5-star Grand Prix is the same weekend as Summer Sun Princess.
Ooh,
So
wow.
I think they might be at the same time, and it's like, ooh,
Wow.
considering and obviously the end of this show, folks. I'm actually gonna usually do Women of Honor at the end. I'm actually gonna do it kind of in the middle because I do want to talk about those four matches from Summer Sun
Hmm.
Princess and Miyu Yamashi taking a flight from England to Japan just to set up her match with Yuki
Yeah.
Rai. If that's not a
How about
company wrestler. If that's not somebody that doesn't love wrestling, I
that?
don't know
Hmm.
who is. I don't know who is. So
That's
I
making
have
the
a lot of
towns, brother.
yeah, you got to make the towns. They literally could have, and obviously we'll get into that at the end. They literally, she just beat Kris Statlander. They literally could have had her with the belt, cut a promo on an iPhone, and send it in to somebody at Tokyo Joshi
Hmm.
Pro and put it up on the Titantron thing. But she flew all the way for that challenge. So
Yeah.
yeah, but we may as well get into it. Let's get in on the next part here.
Yeah.
Miyu Yamashita versus Kris Statlander from Pro Wrestling Eve. Now I did watch this whole show. It was a really, really fun show. I actually have tickets to go to the Pro Wrestling Eve show 2 days before All In. Good
Oh,
possibility we
wow.
may see some stardom talent there
Hmm. Hmm.
as well. Pro Wrestling Eve is ran by Will Ospreay, who works for AEW. AEW working with Stardom. Again, we know that these Shuris and Hazukis and Ronnie Yagamis and Fuchan are going to be a part of this little summer tour that they're doing. So my guess is there's a good possibility we'll see them on that show. But regardless, Miyu Mosh and Kris Statlander, phenomenal, phenomenal
Hmm.
match. I like the match with Jamie Hayter a little bit more,
Yeah,
but
me
this
too.
is you can tell how much Tony Khan is a fan of Miyu Yamashi. And he said this in press conferences before because he had his not just a wrestler contracted with him. It's not like Kris Statlander is somebody that dabbled in the mid card. She's a former world and a former TBS champion. I mean, she
Hmm.
beat Jade Cargill to give Jade Cargill her first loss in professional wrestling and beat Mercedes as well. So Kris Statlander, rightfully so, is somebody big Tony Khan is on. Tony Khan has to sign off when they wrestle outside the company, and then he's got to sign off when they eat the L's. So I was really shocked in a good way to see Miyu Masha get the win here. This match was fantastic. I actually had it at
Hmm.
4.25 stars, good sir.
Yeah, this was really good. And the pro wrestling shows are fun. They do have a little bit of a risque. There's my little
Little
striptease halfway
burlesque, yes.
through the middle of it. I was like, whoa. So hey, it's Will Ospreay. It's whatever he wants. I guess he's into that. But one thing I noticed, Will Ospreay is out at. Now he's not in Gorilla. He's out at ringside the whole time, and he's like pounding on the mat, getting the crowd hyped up. I'm like, wow, he really likes this. So that's pretty cool that he's out there watching all the matches. But this match was really good, and I don't know what's the name of the title. I don't know if I wrote it down here.
The Eve
International.
International.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's the Eve International title. It does look really cool. It's like white with green on it and stuff. Miyu gets the win here. Great match. A skull kick out of nowhere. I mean, the match was good. Not, yeah, like I would agree. The Jamie Hayter match is probably a little bit better, but still two very good matches. Kris Statlander look good here. So Miyu picking up the title. So not just Tony Khan likes her. Well, Ospreay likes her too. So, and she wasn't Dynamite before, or maybe AEW Dark once or twice years ago. So maybe we'll see her back one day, but it's cool she gets the win here in a great match. I gave it 4 stars even, but yeah, that final skull kick out of nowhere, that was pretty cool.
And then that did set up the returning Kaylee Ray, former
Mm-hmm.
Alba Fire. Kaylee Ray comes out. She wants to be the next challenger. And then Riho. Again, it's basically
Not that
England's
one.
Riho,
Yeah.
not former AW Women's Champion Riho. Riho, she wants to challenge on the next Eve show. It'll be Kaylee Ray versus Riho. And I believe the winner of that takes on me. I know the winner that takes on Miyu Yamashita, but I think they did say he's going to be on that show on All In Weekend. So there's if that's the idea, that's I will be able to see Miyu Yamashita wrestle again live
Yeah.
this year. And either way, whether it's Kaylee Ray or Riho, that's a win-win. So excellent stuff. Again, a really solid show from Pro Wrestling, even another great match from Miyu Yamashita. So that wasn't the only great match that we
Mm-hmm.
had on that day because on YouTube, I believe this was taped about a month earlier.
Yeah.
On YouTube, we had former WWE superstar Shotzi Blackheart, now just going by the name Shotzi, taking on one of the best pound for pound wrestlers on the planet, your favorite wrestler from Tokyo
Mm-hmm.
Joshi Pro, one Shoko Nakajima for the MLW Featherweight Championship, which I believe is just like their women's championship. I was
I
like,
think
this
so,
should be
yeah.
fun. Like, I know Shotzi's wrestled a few times in Japan, but it's been quite some time. And Shotzi's very good at the American style. She's a very good storyteller. And sometimes, like Shoko, we've seen it with the Zumi and Starlight Kid. Sometimes they kind of have to slow things down to get the match going where it needs to go. And I think I was texting you the next day because I watched this when it was popped up on my YouTube on Saturday night. That I was like the first few minutes, I'm like, oh, Shoko's going a little bit too fast. And I
Yeah.
don't know if Shotzi's
Yeah.
ready for it. And then Shotzi really brought her game. Again, Shotzi's a great wrestler, a great um, TV ready wrestler. She's great at psychology. She's great with that American style. But the last 5 or 6 minutes of the match, they wrestled a Joshi style, and Shotzi was there for like the dives, the back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
the falsies. The way that this finish was built up, it was built and teased, which I didn't know which way it was going to go. I figured they're going to want to get the belt off Shoko and to get it on one of their contracted wrestlers in Shotzi. But then as this match was building, I didn't know which way it was going to go. I've seen a lot of Shotzi matches before. This is easily my favorite. She was phenomenal here. I want to see Shotzi wrestle more of the Joshis, whether it's Tokyo Joshi Pro, Sendai Girls, Stardom, Marigold. I think
Mm-hmm.
Shotzi's a fun. I mean, this match really showed what a great in-ring wrestler she is. Really fantastic match. 4.25 stars, but it is Shotzi getting the win with her version of the senton, which I believe she calls the ball pit, which is interesting because both Shoko and Shotzi use that top rope senton as a
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah, actually, Shoko misses, and then Joshi goes up and hits it, and that's how she wins here. But getting back to the beginning, where Shoko was going a little too fast, I think there was that little bit of filling out that you sometimes have in matches, because Shoko goes for a Rana, and Joshi, like, kind of catches her, but kind of doesn't, and Shoko lands right on her head. And I was like, ooh, but she was all right, because she was back up and moving fine. But after that, like, it was like that little filling out, then they start flowing better, and everything flowed pretty good from there on. And it was cool, the size difference. Obviously, Shoko's like maybe 5 foot tall, and Shotzi's about 5'9", so there's the size difference. But the match was good. I really liked it. It's probably the first time I watched MLW in quite a while since the last time I seen Shoko wrestle. This was recorded like a month, maybe even longer ago. This was the first match on the show that was on YouTube. I don't know if it was the first match live, but it was a good match here. But Shoko, she did do the double 619 where she goes for the 619, Shotzi ducks, goes down, but then Shoko still hits the bottom rope 619, which I'm like, how do you even do that? So that was cool. But yeah, Shotzi hits her senton, the ball pit, wins the title from Shoko. But yeah, good match here. Probably, I'm just gonna say probably the best match on MLW's. I looked at some of the male talent, nothing against them, but probably not Shoko or Shotzi. So yeah, I gave this one 4 stars too.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Love to see. Obviously, again, MLW has this working relationship with Stardom. I'd love to see Shotzi maybe defend that belt in
Yeah.
Stardom. I mean, it's a real possibility. So again, it really seems like the forbidden door, for lack of a better term, is completely blown off the hinges because I
Hmm.
mean, we got Stardom working with AEW and CMLL, and obviously now MLW. Not only that partner, but I kind of want to double back here and kind of tie the news bow here up in a big Stardom bow is again, we made mention that it's Hazuki, Shuri, Ron, and Fuchan not in the 5-star Grand Prix. And it's not
Hmm.
because they're injured. If you remember last year when they made the announcements, they're like, Sherry's not going to be in the 5-star, Mike is not going to be in the 5-star in FWC. They said FWC was going to be doing some independent stuff, which they did pretty much in Japan. Shuri and Micah were out injured. So it's
Hmm.
just like, man, that's a big blow losing the four of them. But it's why aren't Hazuki, Fuchan, Sherry, and Ronnie Yugami not in the 5-star Grand Prix? It's not because they're injured, because they're going to send them on an excursion to the United States. Again, we talked about what is going to happen and what may or may not happen
Hmm.
with some of the Joshi talent in AEW and Ring of Honor. But did you see this slew of announcements of independent wrestling companies that are like, yep, we're working with Stardom. Yep, we're having Stardom
Hmm.
on this stuff. There's like 5 or 6 promotions within like 24 hours of this announcement that announced they're having Stardom talent. There's some really interesting independent promotions that are going to be having some Stardom talent on their shows, my friend.
Yeah, one's in Pennsylvania, but unfortunately it's on the other side of the state from us in Millvale, Pennsylvania. There is a Millville close to us, but
Yeah, I
this
saw
is
that and that's what I
Millvale.
thought it was. And I was like, oh no, it's the one out towards
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so that is like 5 hours away from us. It is Pennsylvania is a big state for those who don't know. So yeah, 5 hours as opposed to like an hour. I mean, but yeah, that's cool. Why would it? I mean, if AW or whoever's bringing them over, then why not do as many dates as you can, wrestle these independents, get the girls more money, get more matches, get more eyes on them. Why not? And then the people like, hey, we got Fury coming in. She's the IWGP Women's Champion. Yeah, you want to defend the belt? I mean, you got to win anyway. So there you go. I mean, that wouldn't that add to your independent wrestling show? The IWGP Women's title be defended? I mean, come on. It's a no-brainer. So it's cool that they're all getting matches over here.
Yeah, Ron Ugami was announced for AIW Wrestling Cleveland, which is one of the biggest and longest running independent companies. I believe
Yeah.
that's where Johnny Gargano got his start. I
Yeah, I
know
think
he
so.
was in
Yeah.
AEW quite a bit. A Dreamway Wrestling, or it's the Uprising Wrestling, which is basically the women's offshoot of Dreamway Wrestling. They're in Chicago. They've been running for quite some time, one of the bigger independents. And then this new promotion, I believe it's called the Produce Orange Crush.
Yeah. Someone must like fruits and vegetables.
But yeah, yeah, exactly. Or they're big fans of Orange Cassidy, or maybe a
Yeah.
little bit.
Hey.
Maybe who isn't? I like vegetables, and
Yeah.
obviously we've known Orange Cassidy
Hmm.
a long, long time, my
A
friend.
little. Yeah. A little bit.
A little bit, but they're running a show at Vancouver and New York City, so there's a possibility that I might go to that show
Mm.
in New York City. Another thing too, you have to think about. Probably is going to happen is we've seen Hazuki on AEW TV. When she comes out with the Spark Joshi Championship.
Hmm.
My guess is you're going to have at least in the next few months, one, maybe two Spark Joshi shows because again, they're over here. So we haven't had a Spark Joshi show since WrestleMania weekend. Would not be shocked if we get a Spark Joshi show, one or two, in the next 2 months with this talent here, and especially with Hazuki flaunting that championship. Hopefully,
Hmm.
fingers crossed, buddy, it is somewhere over here in the Northeast.
Yeah, yeah, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, like when they ran the show at the old Monster Factory. That'd be awesome if they did that again. So who knows? But yeah, you would think, hey, we got the champ over here. Why don't we have her defend the title? Especially she's gonna be here for 2 months. Like I think the chances are very high.
Rob and I were talking about this in the Stardom cast, and I didn't get a chance to ask him, and I'm going to ask you because he brought up how a year or so ago, Stardom's main thing was we just want to continue to grow Stardom domestically. Clearly, with all of this Joshi talent on AWTV and all on the independents, it really seems like they're like, hey, let's take some of our wrestlers, not all of them, and let's send them over to excursion here
Hmm.
to this. That's clearly, I mean, they're going to be here for 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. And again, Fuchan is a big name, especially in Japan. Ranigami is a great wrestler that's really rising up in the ranks. But you're taking
Hmm.
two of your main eventers in Hazuki and Shuri, taking them out of the 5-star Grand Prix, taking them out of the Stardom roster, again, at least for the next 6 to 8 weeks, and putting them over in the States. And when Rob was talking about this, again, I didn't get a chance to talk about this. I'm like, this will be a great topic. I'll talk with Andy. So obviously, here we are again, Stardom said a year or so ago, we're going to strictly focus on trying to grow in Japan. Obviously, they've done well there.
Hmm.
Clearly, the focus has shifted to here in the United States. Clearly, do you think? that maybe they've seen the success of Tokyo Joshi Pro and said, let's give this a try because Tokyo Joshi Pro has been doing great.
Hmm.
Obviously, they've been running WrestleMania weekend longer than Stardom. They do really well in there. They do really well in the Vancouver shows. They did phenomenal on the Texas shows. Do you think this is something where Teru Okada and the people at Bushi Road were like, let's give that a try. Let's send some wrestlers over there just to test the waters. And then maybe somewhere towards the end of the year or next year, we'll do a full 2 or 3 shows. Again, because obviously WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. So next year. So we're not going to
Yeah.
have that. So is this something that maybe that they're looking at, or maybe something that even Tony Khan said, to Teru Okada, like, hey, take a look what Tokyo Joshi Pro is doing. They're selling tons of tickets here in the United States. There is clearly a demand for not only women's wrestling, but Joshi wrestling in the
Hmm.
States. Obviously, partner, you know that. You live in the States, you love Joshi, same here. Do you think this is something that they maybe looked at that what Tokyo Joshi Pro was doing in the old copy an A, get an A? Do you think that the Tokyo Joshi Pro influence has influenced Stardom's decision here?
You would think it would have had to, especially with that Texas tour where they did 4 dates and like they were almost all sellouts, and like then the word and the buzz was so strong for it. You'd think somebody somewhere was like, hey, if they could do it, nothing against Tokyo Joshi Pro, but Stardom bigger and better. So wouldn't they do better if they came over here and did the same thing, run a couple shows? I mean, maybe they'll do L.A. and Texas and maybe Chicago and Philly or New York, something like that. But you would think somebody somewhere, or Tony Khan, somebody said, hey, this is what Tokyo Joshi Pro did. What can you guys do? We're gonna, have you come over, send a few people over, put you on TV, and then let's say Hazuki wins the one heart, right? So she does that. Now she's there. Now they're like, hey, I seen that girl on AEW. She won the belt. She's pretty good. Let's go to that Stardom show that's going to be in Philly in 2 months. So smart idea. I think that it had to. Tokyo Joshi Pro's success in running Vegas and Texas and Vancouver had to have maybe lit the fire under someone's Stardom. Like, hey, I think there's money to be made over in the states.
Yeah, again, those ECW Arena shows, I got the tickets last week, and they look like they're just all about sold out. And they just
Hmm.
announced, I understand Killer Cross is a drop. Well, I don't know how WWE dropped the ball with him. He was so hot, so
Hmm.
over. But again, another story for another day. But a lot of it has to do with Sai Kamatani and Arena. Like, no
Yeah.
disrespect to the rest of that roster, I would not be making this trip if it wasn't for Sai
Yeah. Yeah.
Kamatani and Arena. So they have to look at that, depending on the ovation they're getting. And I understand that they're heels, but they've been Kamatani and Rina are over quite a bit as cool heels in
Yeah.
Japan. And Rina got one of the biggest, if not the biggest, reaction on that Stardom Vegas show when she wrestled Athena. So I think they're going to look at that as kind of the template and then see what the next 6 to 8 weeks bring. Again, Joshi wrestling more in the United States. Not only that, but having two of the best in Tokyo Joshi Pro and Stardom, that's only good things for us, buddy. Because I can tell you what, these
Hmm.
last 2 weeks, I've answered a lot of questions about Hazuki, and then a lot of people are like, "I know a little bit of Sari, but what's Takumi? Or tell me about Takumi Rojas." So we're getting more and more people interested in this style, rightfully so, because we see it all the time where it's like WWE had 7 hours of programming and AEW had 5 hours of program. The women only had like 15 or 20 minutes. I'm like, I understand like MJF is the project and Roman Reigns
Yeah.
is the project, so you have to put that into play. So again, it's going to be really interesting. And now AEW has that app where it's going to
Yeah.
be all. So why not do like an all elite women's wrestling show where you have Stardom and CMLL and maybe Tokyo Joshi Pro? Because again, when we
Well,
did talk to Jamie Hayter, she was like, I thought we were working with Tokyo Joshi Pro the whole time because we've seen Yuka and Takeshita go over to Tokyo Joshi Pro. And again, Miyu Yamashita just defeated one of their top female stars. So maybe we finally see Tokyo Joshi Pro and Stardom working in some sort of way. Maybe it's if Tony Khan is the one to bring that together, my friend. Like that's he's doing the gentleman's work, that's for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, forbidden door. So it's a forbidden door for a reason. That's one of the last thresholds, I guess you could get to, because obviously we're not going to involve WWE ever. So yeah, some Tokyo Joshi Pro versus Stardom matches. I'm all for it. So I'm excited to see what happens here. It should be pretty cool, especially for Forbidden Door. They did say they will be working more with Stardom for that. So maybe throw a little Tokyo Joshi Pro in there, maybe a little Miyu. I mean, who knows?
I already have the promotional video where it's Shuri walking up to one side of the forbidden door and Miyu
Oh,
Yamashita walking up to the other.
oh,
Shuri throws a low kick and Miyu Yamashita throws a skull kick and it busts the door open, very much like in like Final Fight, the arcade, and
yeah,
all of a sudden they square off, and then it's like IWGP Joshi Championship, or you could do it for the Eve Championship
yeah.
as
You could do
well.
either
So I
one.
mean, ooh, I think like all right, real quick, and then we will get into the I say real quick, but we can talk about this forever. if you can book one match on Forbidden Door, a singles match, one Stardom wrestler versus one Tokyo Joshi Pro. I already know it's Shuri versus Miyu Yamashita.
Yeah,
You already know that. But if you can book, other than that match,
yeah.
if you can book
Let's put
one
that aside.
match, a singles match, only one wrestler from Stardom versus one wrestler from Tokyo
Ooh,
Joshi Pro for Forbidden Door in front of like 15,000 people.
I think I got two matches that come with it.
Okay, go ahead.
First, let's just pick Sai Kamatani versus Miyu Watanabe. There we
Oh,
go. I mean,
oh
come
my
on now. Do you want to take the top two stars? And my personal favorite that I would book if I was had to book Shoko Nakajima versus Zumi.
I knew you were gonna say that. I
But,
knew you were gonna say that. Oh man, what three great matches. Folks, comment section below. What is the one match you would book? And out of those three matches, if you can only pick one, Sherry versus Miyu Yamashita, Miyu Watanabe versus Sai Kamatani, or Shoko Nakajima versus Azumi. Comment section below. What
or
match of
Palm
those
Harajuku
three?
versus Fukin Death. Maybe
Oh
that should
man,
work right
that's okay. See again. I know I said let's pick one. That
there.
might be the next what if.
There
That
we
might be the
go.
next. There
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I think that's what we might have to do. And again, usually what me and Andy had to do is we record Talk Joshi and then we record some sort of Patreon episode. That's not going to happen because this is going to be a
No.
long episode. And I might sneak in a few minutes to try to put my air conditioning in because it's supposed to be hot
Ooh.
tomorrow before we
Yeah.
see AEW. We'll see how that happens. But
Mm.
my brother, before we get into these five shows, or anything else, again, there was a lot to talk about.
Yeah. There's a
Is there
lot to
anything
cover
else
there.
that I missed or anything else you want to chat about, good sir?
No, I think we got it all for that happenings there, except for the shows we're about to talk about. All those shows. It's crazy because there was only like the one week. There's like one, two shows. Now it's like here's six, plus all these other matches happening around the world.
Unbelievable, buddy. Embarrassment of riches. This is why we expanded to Talk Joshi. And remember, we first started this a little over a year ago. I'm like, we'll do it once a month. And I think that lasted a month. And then it's like we got to do it every week because there's demand there, and it gives us an excuse to watch more
Hmm.
wrestling and then talk about wrestling, buddy, because that's what we need.
Yeah.
More wrestling, more Joshi
Hmm.
wrestling in our
But
lives. Good sir.
you know what popped in my I seen today? I didn't watch it, but you got to show Lily because she's a big Sonic fan. Did you see Tatum Paxley on NXT came out with Rogue the Bat inspired gear from Sonic? You know Rogue the Bat?
I
She came
heard
out. She
I
looked good.
heard of her.
I
I heard of. Lily told me because we always say what's going to be the next post
oh
credit
she's
scene from
neck
Sonic
yeah.
because they do so much. Like the first one, they set up Tails. The second one, they set up
Knuckles.
Shadow. The third one, they
Yeah.
set up Amy and Shadow making his big fiery comeback.
Yeah.
So I asked her, and I don't know too much. She goes, Rogue the Bat. When I think Rogue, you know what I go to,
Yeah,
Rogue
X
from the
Men.
X-Men.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. So it's Tatum Paxley. If you
Yeah.
remember, can you just take a
Okay, I'll
picture
send you
and
a
send it to
picture.
me later?
Yeah, and
I'll
she
send it
came.
to
She had
Lily.
like a little thing with the ears on, like a little headband. I was like, I knew right away. I was like, man, that's Rogue the Bat. That's awesome. I mean, I don't watch NXT. I mean, it's not enough time. But yeah, she wrestled. I think what is Zarya,
I
I
heard that
believe.
was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched the last minute on that Twitter, but it looked pretty good. Zarya does like the F5, and she was F5 on the outside. Came back in. And was poor Tatum Paxley took a little bit of a beating, but she was dressed like Rogue the Bat.
I'll have to see that. I know a friend of the show, Darren Chatton, he always gives me the time cues for EO, Kyrie Watch, and
Hmm.
Gaze at Julie, just so I know where to go to. So I don't have to fast forward through anything. It
No,
saves me a few
that's a big
minutes. And
help. Yeah.
obviously, Darren, yeah. So now what Darren's been doing, he's a massive fan of NXT. There's been some great women's matches on NXT. So he did text me earlier today and he said that there was a great match with Kendall Gray versus Kalani Jordan. They had a
I
great
heard
match
that.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So number one contenders match. And he's like, you have to watch it. And I was like, I would definitely watch it, but I will add it on to next week's Talk
Yeah, next
Joshi
week.
because
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Too
just
much.
jam packed. And I need to get caught up on these Marigold shows for the Marigold standard as well.
Hmm.
By the way, Andy Header, if you do get time on Marigold, definitely watch Chi Chi's two matches from this
I
past
have to.
week.
Yeah.
Yuka Yamazaki on the ninth and the sixth was Nagisa Takabana. Both two really, really solid matches. But other than some Sonic talk, my friend, are we ready to speed
Yeah.
into some Tokyo Joshi Pro, good sir?
Let's do it.
Okay, folks. So here we go. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to just quickly go through the results from the show on the 30th next door in Osaka. This actually came up, I believe, the day we were recording last week, so we didn't watch it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read the results, and then myself and Andy are going to talk about the final two matches of Miyu Yamashi and Toga versus Shoko Nakajima and Wanaka Forever Uehara, and then the main event of the champions versus the challengers
Yeah,
match
part two.
for basic part two. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Again, the quick results are as follows. So again, Tokyo Joshi Pro Spring Tour 2026 next door in Osaka. Arisa Endo opens up with a win over Shion Kazaki, 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Three-way dance. Sakura Tori defeating Mifu Ishida and Ren Kanatsu, 7 minutes and 59 seconds. And then match number three, your standard comedy affair, sees Palm and Riku defeating the team of Hyper Masao and Kiara Summer at 11 minutes and 9 seconds. And then we have Haru Kazushino and Yuki Aino, also known as Prism Greed, defeating the team of Chikananas and Himawari at 10 minutes and 38 seconds. Semi-main event, Miyumash and Toga defeating the team of Shoko Nakajima and Wanaka Uehara at 12 minutes and 36 seconds. And in the main event, it is the champions team of Miyu Watanabe, Rika Tatsumi, Suzume, and Yuki Arai defeating Mihiro Kirio, Mizuki, Uda Takami, and Yuki Kamafuki at 16 minutes and 28 seconds. Andy Header, as I take a breath, let's get into this semi-main event match. I think I text you and Andy Zyke on our text thread. This was phenomenal. Like Toga was great. Wanaka Uehara, she was great. We knew what you're going to get into. This was Yamashita and Shoko. Everybody was
Mhm.
terrific. The best beats in this match. No disrespect to
Yeah.
Toga, Wanaka. They could have anybody else in this match. The best beats in this match were Shoko and Miyu. Just what special talents that we have with Miyu and Shoko. But eventually, though, it is we do have Toga getting the win. He needed the absolute. Excuse me, Toga blocking
Sushi roll.
the sushi roll, and it's the absolute zero on Wanaka for the 3 count, which is very interesting considering what happened at the Korakuen Hall
Mm-hmm.
show. Toga getting a big win over Wanaka. I had 4.25 stars. I love this match, my friend.
Yeah, I wrote down Shoko Miyu was the best parts of this match. I mean, anytime they get in there and they mix it up, it's really good. But Wakana and Toga both look good here. I like when Wakana goes for a sushi roll, and then Toga they do like the way they do the reversals into the absolute zero, the rock bottom at the end there. It was really nice. That was really cool at the end. But yeah, solid match. Shoko had darker hair from her match 2 days earlier than with Shachi. It was like it was recorded a month ago. But yeah, a great match here. I gave it 4 stars even. But yeah, really good match. And it's surprising that Wakana took the loss here because maybe she comes out the challenge. But she's been winning nonstop, and I kept saying, hey, she's probably going to go after that international princess title. This kind of seems where she's going. And then she took a loss here. It's like, well, maybe not, but we'll see.
Yeah, again, I'm sure they're going to just be using to build her up constantly. And obviously,
Yeah.
they built her up perfectly in the Cork Hall show, which again,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to review that on the final part of this show. Let's go to the main event. Basically, this match was so nice, they ran it back twice.
Mm-hmm.
Champions versus the challengers. They used to do this in Ring of Honor back in the day quite a bit, where you would have your world of world of your Ring of Honor world champion team with the tag champs to take on the number one contender. So I really like this concept. It was
Mm-hmm.
great last time when they did it. We talked about, I believe, last week. This was just as good. I liked the one last time better. I still gave this four and a
Yeah.
quarter stars. Like the other one just a little bit better. This was just preview and preview. You had Suzume and obviously Mahiro worked really well. The Yukis, Arai, and Kamayu, they are fantastic. But the best parts in this match, very much like in the one that we saw a few weeks ago, was the tag stuff with Mizuki and Uda
Yeah.
versus Daydream. And I cannot wait to talk about that match at the end of this episode. Boy, howdy. The best tag matches I've seen in all of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is just too much Daydream as Rika puts Uda to sleep, and maybe she was dreaming in the middle of the day. But it is
Mm.
Rika Tatsumi getting the submission win over Uda with the White Dragon Sleeper. Again, 4.25 stars. Still a really fantastic outing, my friend.
Yeah, this match was good. I think I'm with you. I like the first one a little bit more. I do like this idea of champions versus challengers. I think they should do it more often because it's a pretty cool idea. And plus, it gets your pipe psyched for all the matches, all in one match, so you can have more room for other matches. But yeah, I like the Uja and Mizuki there. They need a name, and Andy Zyke's been saying they need a name. They need a tag name. Oh yeah, for a full review of the show, go over to the Tokyo Joshi Pod. And he's like reviewed it and came out last week. But anyway, the Mizuki and Uda Mizuda. I always want to say that. The way they
Mizuki.
like, yeah, Mizuki. The way they do the reversals into like the moves and stuff like that, it's crazy. It's so good. But then Deji Eternity to Mizuki and that inverted White Dragon Sleeper because she locked it in, but then Rika like rolled over and she like pulled Uda up. I was like, ooh, and then Uda tapped out immediately. Yeah, I give it 4 stars. Four and a quarter. I totally say this was a great match.
Did you like this one better or the first one better?
I think I like the first the tag match a little bit better.
Okay, my friend Andy, I'm scrolling through Twitter. I do not see anything that Suri has pulled out. So we were about 2 hours away from the show. So far, so good. I figured I'd be tagged in about 4,000 posts if it happened. So I think right now we are okay. All right, my friend, get your notes ready because we are going to go to Sendai Girls. We're going to review the next 3 shows from Sendai Girls. Again, we are just picking select matches. So Andy Header, we are going all the way back to last month, the 30th of May, Sendai Girls in Aichi, Japan. We're only going to review the last 2 matches. I did watch all these shows. They're all terrific, but just for the sake of time, we're just talking about a few select matches from these shows. Match number 1, Raindin Hargani and Ryo Mizunami defeating the team of Chichi and Miku Kunai at 9 minutes and 50 seconds. By the way, Andy, did you know that Miku Kunai is challenging Rani Yagami for the Future of Stardom Championship
Oh no, I
next
didn't.
weekend in Korakuen Hall for Stardom? How
Oh,
about that?
nice. Yeah, how about it? That should be good.
A lot of Miku Kunai in our lives,
Yeah,
my
how about
friend. A
that?
lot of
Not a bad
Miku
thing.
Kunai. Yeah, she was just in a tag match at T Hearts with that Hashimoto and I think Mirai in it. So I will
Mm,
yeah, I got the brother link. So remind me on that one. I'll
okay.
trade you that for the picture of Rogue the Bat.
Oh,
How
there
about
we
that?
go. Yeah.
Match number 2 sees Hiro Matsumoto defeating Stephanie Mays 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Match number 3, the return of Maria Koga. We've seen her pop up from Sendai Girls from time to time, defeating opening match Yuna, but not in the opening match. Match number 3, or as we say in Scranton Tree, Koga getting the win at 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Match number 4 sees Yurika Oka defeating Uriah Suzuki at 10 minutes and 15 seconds. I almost added this match in to our watching, but then I realized that the show from the 7th was going to drop. This Oka versus Uriah Suzuki match, if you haven't seen it and have the time, it only goes a little over 10 minutes, was really fantastic. Eureka Oka's like putting on some really phenomenal singles matches, and we'll get
Yeah.
into her match with Miko Wada. Like Bob Moma Banana, I know you love them. They're your favorite team. I guess you like Miyamoto a little bit more than Oka. Would I have that correct?
Yeah. I mean, you think she's a little bit better, but still, Eureka in these matches here.
She's always been good. It seems like the last 6 months she's really turned it up to another gear, and
Yeah.
really good on her. Really good on her. The semi-main event, which we're going to review in a little bit, Hyperactive of Anita Vaughn and Sapphire Reed defeating the team of Manami and Miyuki Takasi at 12 minutes and 28 seconds. Another match we're absolutely going to review, Jiro Hashimoto and Miko Wada defeating Spike Nishimura and Benny at 14 minutes and 36 seconds. Andy had it. Let's talk about the semi-main event match. I thought with Hyperactive, they built them up perfectly. They were undefeated in tag matches going into their challenge for Ryo Mizunami and Manami. And then once they lost that match, I'm like, okay, they'll start losing some matches because it's like, we need to start building other teams up. They're just back to steam rolling through the
Mm-hmm.
entire division. So I don't know if they're building them back up and then they're going to win the belts, or they just want to just have them keep getting wins. I don't know. I really don't care because they're awesome. They're phenomenal as a team. You're taking on Miyuki Takasi. Again, we talked about how Eureka Oka has stepped up her game to try to match Miyamoto. Yuka Takasi, we've said it a few times over the last 7-8 months. She's really building up her game to build up the intensity that she does when she teams with Miko Wada. And Manami's fantastic. We both predict sometime in the next year and change, she's going to be a future Sendai Girls World Champion. She's terrific. This match was terrific. Anita Vaughn getting the win over Miyuka Takasi with her version of the Emerald Frozen. 4.25 stars. This was phenomenal tag wrestling. And we know Hyperactive is terrific as a team. Miyuka Takasi and Manami, not normal tag partners, they worked really well together. And again, I know Manami is one of the tag champs here. Another win over a tag champ. I know she didn't eat the
Yeah.
fall directly. Takasi did, and Takasi, is one of the best wrestlers in this company. I think this is just a statement here, and it's Anita Vaughn getting the win. 4.25 stars. This was phenomenal. I thoroughly love this.
Yeah, I only caught the last couple minutes because we were strapped for time. I did watch the main event of all these shows, but the last couple
Sure.
minutes just for time. But to see Hyperactive win again, it's like, huh, how long are they sticking around? We do know they have a WWE tryout coming up, or
They think
maybe.
they already had it, or they might have it.
Oh,
Like, I think they already had it. So I mean, they're
okay,
WWE. It's, you never know what they're looking for. Are they good enough in the
yeah.
ring? I think you put Hyperactive in current day WWE. I think they're better than probably about half the roster.
Yeah.
That's how good I think they are.
Yeah, I mean they're really good. From that first time we see them, like, who are these girls? These girls are good. But it depends how long they're staying. Will they win the tag titles? I mean, if you beat half the, in Minami and you can beat their half in Rio, maybe they do. And then it seems like is AEW getting a look at them because they have a tag division and they need some people. So perfect person to sign, team to sign there. Be hyperactive. I can see it. I mean, I'm sure there's someone. Hey, check those out. I'm sure Tony Khan already knows about them. But yeah, it's surprising they got the win here. They are really good. The last 2 minutes of this was very good. I think maybe if they stick around, you'll get a little title run here for Hyperactive.
Yeah. What was your? I know you saw the end, but if you were to give it a quick star rating,
I'd give it 4 probably just right away.
yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
Main event time.
and I'll go
Go.
back to her
Sure.
Emerald Frozen where she does it like it's a little bit different because it's kind of like in a Michinoku driver position that she ends it with kind of. It's a little bit different, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's almost like the Emerald Mijinoko. Well, maybe we'll call it the
Yeah,
Mijinoko Frozen. Yeah,
there
that's
we
what we'll
go.
do.
Yeah, Michinoku Frozen.
That sounds like a drink that you would get at Starbucks. Can I have a limited edition to go with
That's
my
the Frozen one.
He-Man? Yeah, my
Yeah.
He-Man popcorn bucket. Did you by chance see He-Man?
I did, and it was very good. I was gonna say the sidebar, and we went on Sunday. That's why I couldn't get a lot of these matches, the full matches in, but like all the main events. Very fun movie. If you like the '80s cartoon, and you like a little silliness with your movie, He-Man is a great fun time. You can take the kids. There's no blood, just violence, but nothing too over the top. But it was a very fun time, and I had no complaints with it. And not one, not two, not three, but four after credit scenes. So stick around to the end.
I was supposed to see it. My aunt wanted to go see it. And I was like, yeah, we'll go. And then I was like, well, in order for me to get to the movie theater back home, I got to pass by where Lily's at. So I was like, Lily, you want to go see He-Man? She's like, I know nothing about it, but like a free movie. And then
Yeah.
ice cream afterwards. Heck yeah. And then my aunt had something that came up and she canceled on me, I think the day before. So I was just like, Lily, not unless you really want to go see it. No, she's like, no, Dad, stay home. So I didn't go see
Yeah.
it. I probably won't go see it until it comes out on streaming. But I was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast and they did mention that they're doing some world building
Mm-hmm.
with He-Man. I might maybe I'll ask you off air because I don't maybe do I want to be I'm not a massive He-Man fan. I think I had a
Yeah.
phase with it. So maybe I'll ask you off air. Very much like didn't they do something with G.I. Joe supposed to be doing something with Transformers?
Yeah, I know in the comics they are full tilt, full blow on the combining the Energon universe. But I think for the movie they did, but then I think it kind of fell down a little bit because the G.I. Joe movies didn't do so hot. So I don't think that's actually gonna
I
happen. I
think it
mean,
was a
maybe it will still will.
I think it was like a post-credit scene in the second
Yeah.
G.I. Joe movie, something like that. But anywho, so we don't know if G.I. Joe and Transformers is going to be a good team, but I know what was a great team. Joe
Mm-hmm.
Hashimoto and Mika Wada taking on Spike Nishimura and Venny. Poor
Mm-hmm.
Spike. She's so good, but
Yeah.
she has these great matches. She's over, but she's always looking at the lights. Spike got spiked, pun intended, in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the ring here at the Sendai Girls show from that powerbomb. Hashimoto getting the win. We've seen Venny and Mikawata have some really stiff exchanges. No different here, but they really seem to put a major focus on Venny and Chirashimoto towards the tail end of this match. And then you find out why, which we'll get into after the
Mm-hmm.
show from the 7th. Just another phenomenal match. Sendai Girls just really takes wrestlers that usually don't team with certain people and stick them in matches. And it's just like, ooh, this was really good. Like, ooh, this was fantastic. Like, why couldn't this been like Hashimoto and Venny versus Red Energy, or like, or
Yeah.
like. But again, I understood where they went with it. With this, this was my favorite match of the show. 4.25 stars for me.
Yeah, this match was pretty good. I like that Chihiro and Spike went out to the stage, and Spike slammed her on the stage because it was like out past the crowd. There's like this stage backdrop, whatever you want to call it. That was pretty cool. There was a nice Liger bomb near fall by Benny on Chihiro. I'm like, ooh, that was pretty close there. Spike hit her version of the Michinoku driver, not Michinoku Frozen, but regular Michinoku driver for a near fall on Chihiro. There's this nice combo. It was the super kick and the Angel's Wings on Chihiro by Spike and Benny. Spike has that power where it's like whoever she tags up with makes a good tag team. Remember back in now what's her name Rain Leverkusen when she was tagging with her in that match, Lizzie Rain, and then she
Lindsay
tagged
Rain,
with
that's right.
yeah she tags with Chihiro or not Chihiro, Chi Chi. And that was good. I was like, wow, Spike has the ability to like make a good team with just about anybody. And her and Benny melded really good. And that's a super kick, Angel Wing combo on Chihiro. That was really nice. Um, Then finally, Chihiro hits the lariat for a near falling spike, and then that big power bomb. What do you call it? The folded bomb. Almost the
I
last
just
ride,
call it the
kind of.
quad folding bomb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She hits that 1, 2, 3. Good tag match. Lots of action. Everyone looked very smooth here. Looked like they all wrestled each other for years. 4.25 stars for me too. This was a great match.
I forgot to ask you. I meant to ask you this actually before we recorded, but I guess we're gonna do a little on air booking. How do you want to do your best hair and best gear? Did you watch the whole entire Tokyo
I
Joshi Pro
did.
show from the? Okay, so what do you
Yeah,
have for
so
that,
I
Kitsu?
picked someone for that. So I picked the
Okay,
best
go
hair and
ahead,
best
sir.
gear for the Tokyo Joshi Pro. I didn't pick one for all of this because I was like, I don't know how to really because the Hazuki match, the
You do
Suzuki
however
match.
you want. If you just
Yeah,
want to
so
just
we
do one
can.
for all three
Yeah,
shows, but who did
yeah,
you
we'll
have
do
for
that
this Tokyo Joshi Pro on the 30th, buddy?
on the 30th. Let me see. Or did I only picked. Let me see here. I
Or did you not?
I just did the Korakuen Hall show. So
Oh, okay. So we'll be
yeah,
Paso then the 30th. Okay,
yeah.
then for Sendai Girls, if you want to, we'll just combine these matches and then you can kind of go off who you think had them there. So that's what we'll do. So
Okay,
we'll do one total for Sendai Girls, one total
okay.
for Tokyo Joshi Pro, and then we'll match them up in our ultimate final.
Ooh, there we go. Sounds good.
Ultimate final? The ultimate challenge.
The ultimate.
The ultimate challenge. Sendai Girls show number 2. We go to May 31st. In Osaka. Quick results are as follows. Stephanie Mays defeating opening match Yuna 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Again, this is a match that we almost did. Spike Nishimura defeating Uriah Suzuki at 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Nice seeing Spike get a win. It seems like she can win in the opening match and sometimes the middle of the card, but when she's wrestling those main eventers, you know that she's the pin eater in those matches.
Mhm.
God bless her. Match number 3, Reindeer Hagan and Hiro Matsumoto defeating Maria Kogo and Miyuka Takase at 10 minutes and 49 seconds. Match number 3 is a match that we are going to be reviewing. Anita Vaughn and Sapphire Reed defeating Veni and Chi-Chi 12 minutes and 7 seconds. Semi-main event of our tag team champions in a non-title match of Manami and Ryo Mizunami defeating Shiro Hashimoto and Miku Kanai at 12 minutes and 59 seconds. My guess is that they use this match to promote Ryo versus Hashimoto, which we'll be
Mhm.
talking about here in a few moments. In the main event, absolute must see match. This was actually my favorite match from the past week over on my YouTube, my top 5 favorite Joshi slash
Mhm.
female matches from this past week. Mika Wad defeating Eureka Oka. Again, this is a must see match. 13 minutes and 59 seconds. My friend, we are doing 3 matches on this show. Let's start off with Veni and Chi Chi versus Hyperactive. Again, another Hyperactive win with Anita Wan using the Emerald Driver. I think is that what we're
Mhm.
calling it? The Emerald,
Emerald
the
Driver,
Michinoku
Michinoku
Frozen,
Frozen. Yeah.
Michinoku Frozen to put away Chi Chi with a 3 count. This was some great individual efforts from Venny and Chi Chi, but where it broke down was just the familiarity with Anita Vaughn and Sapphire Reed as a tag team. I love that divide and conquer that they have. Great stuff with Venny and Sapphire Reed, like really picking up almost like a high speed match here in the beginning. I thought this was a solid match. I would have wished it went a little minute or two longer, but you had a lot of matches that got some good quality time. Again, overall, really solid show, but this was a really solid match. 4 stars for me.
This one, unfortunately, I didn't get to see. I have to go back and watch. But when I did see it, I was like, if I didn't go see He-Man, probably would have got it in. But yeah, Hyperactive getting their win here, probably gonna get a dinner shot those tag titles and maybe win.
Yeah, maybe run it back. Run it back. My friend, did you get to see this next match with Ryo Mizunami, Manami versus Chiro Hashimoto and Miku Kanai?
I didn't. I only got the main event in.
No problem, buddy. I will go over this one. So, again, as I mentioned about a minute ago, this really just served as almost your go home match for because we know on the next week the big main event is going to be Hashimoto defending the belt with Ryo Mizunami. So we started with Hashimoto, Ryo Mizunami, big lockup, and then we get chop off, we get a lariat off, we get shoulder tackle. Just the stuff that Hashimoto and Ryo are big heavy hitters. So you
Hmm.
have like the two of them almost like who's the first one to budge, who's the first one to blink. Eventually, we do get tag outs with Miku Kanai and Manami. They really pick up the more high impact, high intensity, like almost again high speed style. So you can have the two heavyweights of Rio and Hashimoto like just hitting each other, and then when Manami and Miku Kanai come in, it's like boom spot, boom spot, boom spot.
Hmm.
Not to the point where it's like they're not selling, but it's just like they're really starting to pick up the pace.
Fast
So I
paced, yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed that. As we get to the middle of the match, Rio does the chops to Hashimoto. Eventually, you know this is not going to end well for Ryo Mizunami. Hashimoto hits a huge lariat onto Rio Mizunami. Rio fires up and hits the 1-2 elbow, like the boxing elbows, where she hits the right and then the left. That stuns Hashimoto. Then we have Miku Kunai. Must be watching her best of Eureka Oka and Miyamoto tapes or DVDs or again
Oh,
tapes.
yep.
Miku Kunai with the drop kick out assault onto Rio Mizunami. I guess maybe no
Mm-hmm.
Baba Mama Banana as a team on this show. It was just like, yeah, I'm going to steal this. So I like how Miku Kunai using the drop kick assault. Towards the end here, we get Ryo Mizunami hits a huge lariat to the front and then the lariat to the back of Miku Kunai for a 2 count. Hashimoto comes in for the save, hits a double lariat onto Ryo Mizunami and Minami. Ryo Mizunami then takes out Hashimoto with the Uranagi. That sets up for Ryo Mizunami to put away Miku Kunai with a lariat and a spear combination. 4.25 stars. It was another
Mm.
fantastic match. They did a great job making Ryo Mizunami look like she can take the title off Chiro Hashimoto, which is exactly what you want going into your championship match coming up again in a week's time, which we're going to talk about in just a few moments. But this main event, brother, Mika Wada versus Yurika Oka. When I
Mm-hmm.
saw this was the main event, I was like, figured you'd have Hashimoto and Mizunami as your main event. Because not only was it great, but like that's what you're building your next big championship match. So it's like I love Mika Wada, I love Eureka Oka. And this tag match I just talked about, getting 4.25 stars, was phenomenal. But why
Mm-hmm.
was this the main event? And I was like, Mako Satomura obviously knows what she's doing. As great as the other
Yeah.
matches are, this is actually my second favorite match of all these shows and matches we're going to cover. This was phenomenal. This was Yurika Oka's best outing, in my opinion, and one of Miko Wada's best singles matches that doesn't have Soriano in it. This was phenomenal. You had the speed versus the hard hitting style. There were so many near falls. Yurika Oka rolling up and rolling up and rolling up. And she was like 2.8, 2.9, 2.91,
Yep.
2.92, 2.93, 2.999. Like it was so many over and over and over. I'm like, somebody's got to get blown up here because if the refs got to get blown up or Wada, Rico kept going and going and going. And eventually Miko Wada hits a buzzsaw kick and the Lion Thunder driver, putting away Rika Oka. Brother, I love this. 4.5 stars for me is what I rated it.
Yeah. This was really good. And before we get into the match, Eureka came out with long pigtails here with some purple braids in it. So some new hair for Eureka over here. Looked pretty cool here. And right away, like Eureka's trying to fight back, and then she finally does. And what happens? Drop kick assault. So she got that in here. There was a nice superplex. One part. There was one part where Mika had like a lift up DDT from a suplex. It looked really great. It was like she got up, she turned into DDT. Looked awesome here. There was the airplane spin by Eureka for 10 rotations. Count them out there. I like how she does that. And she hit the twisted bliss for a near fall. Close pinning attempts, like you just said, it was one after another. It just got closer and closer and closer. And then the back kick by Mika for a near fall. Then the buzzsaw kicks. Then finally that driver at the end. 1, 2, 3. A really good match here. Great main event. I loved it too. 4.5 stars for me too.
Phenomenal. Just when the Sendai Girls are just clicking on all cylinders, such a fun company to watch. We go to our final Sendai Girls show that we're going to review. And again, obviously, we're just going to talk about the final two matches, but the quick results are as follows. Sendai Girls in Shinjuku Face. This was a live stream on Wrestle Universe. Opening match, he's Miku Kanai and Spike Nishimura defeating Senka Akatsuki and Uriah Suzuki. I thought this was a good match, but it only went 7 minutes and 18 seconds. Still thoroughly enjoyed it. Another great match. Again, if you have the time, folks, definitely take time to check it out. Chi and Manami went to the old TLD time limit draw at 10 minutes. Match number 3 sees Anita Vaughn, Sapphire Reed, and Stephanie Mays defeating the team of Hiro Matsumoto, Yuka Takasi, and Yuka Sakazaki at 10 minutes and 46 seconds. Then we had a hard-hitting affair, Mika Wada defeating Zones in 7 minutes and 33 seconds. Match we're going to talk about here in Uno El Minuto is Benny teaming again with Yuna once again to taking on the team of Bob Momo Banana, of Miyamoto, and Eureka Oka. Benny getting the win here, and I was like, that's really weird. And then you find out why about a half an hour later. Main event, absolutely phenomenal match with Chiro Hashimoto getting the win over Ryo Mizunami, 17 minutes and 43 seconds. Partner, you only saw the main event of the show.
Just
Do
the
I have
main
this
event,
correct?
yeah. Yeah, but
Just
what a
the
great
main
main
event.
event. I do got to go back and watch my team, Bob Mo Banana. Yeah, I was like, I didn't get to these matches, but I got home a little bit early from work. I was like, well, I can get one in at least. So, yeah, I did see the main event.
You got it in. You got it in. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, definitely take the time. Yuna and Venny was really fantastic. I'll tell you right now, I had it 4.25 stars. You
Ooh.
start off with a really fast pace here with Venny and Eureka Oka. Match quickly goes to the floor. Anytime you have a match with Venny and it goes to the floor, you know what happens, right?
Moonsault. Moonsault off the
Moonsault
top.
off the post. Moonsault off the post. So then we get back into the ring, and then we do have that Venny goes to German suplex Miyamoto. Miyamoto lands on her feet. So then we get some great teamwork here from Bob Bob Mo and Banana onto Venny and Yuna. Eventually, we get the drop kick assault because you know that's absolutely going to happen. It happens on Venny. They pick on the senior member of this
Mm-hmm.
team, not young Yuna. Um, we do have that Yuna then is able to hit a few strikes on the Eureka Oka. Then he goes for the top rope moonsault, but no water in the pool. Oka comes back and starts hitting dragon screw after dragon screw onto Venny. Makes sense because Venny's hit one moonsault, scored with it, goes for the second one, misses, and they're like, no, we gotta take Venny's legs out because this moonsault is absolutely killing us. We get towards the end as we get the double drop kick onto Yuna, and then we get Venny and Yuna. They get our we get the double drop kick onto both members of Venny and Yuna. We have Oka Miyamoto. They put Venny and Yuka on the side corners. They both go for their versions of the twisted bliss, the
Yeah,
sparkle
Fairy gift.
splash, the
Yeah.
Pharaoh gift, whatever you want to call it. However, Una and Venny, they must call the same play at the same time because they get their feet up on the versions of the twisted bliss here from Bob Bob Moment Banana. We get a huge Joshi dropkick on Eureka Oka. Vanny then hits the top rope moonsault, putting away Eureka Oka at 4.25 stars. Again, I thought this was very interesting that they had Vanny get a win over the former champions of Bob Bob Mom Banana. But then we find out why a few
Hmm.
moments later. Again, 4.25 stars. That leads us to the main event. Jiro Hashimoto and Ryo Mizunami. This was hard hitting, violent, Joshi Puro, strong style action at its finest. I'm such a massive fan of Ryo Mizunami. Not only is she great in the ring, but like she's so charismatic.
Hmm.
Like everybody chants Aniki, which I don't know what that means, but I just know that they all chant
Oh,
Aniki.
yeah, I
And I
don't know
know
what that
Andy
means either.
Zyke would always say when her and Yuki Aino were the tag champions, they called them Yuki on Niki or Nike Yuki, something
Mm.
like one of those. And I was like, they chant it when she comes out. Hashimoto is obviously the 10 pole in this company. She has been for quite some time and is still, at that spot. This was phenomenal. I didn't think Rio was going to win because I kind of have an idea where they may or may not be going. Plus, she's a tag champ. But there was a lot of close
Yeah.
near falls here. There really was. But eventually, though,
Hmm.
Hashimoto getting the win with the big German suplex, 4.5 stars. This was fantastic.
Yeah, it was hard hitting the clotheslines, the suplexes, even when Ryu got her in the corner for the chops, and then the way Chihiro's selling it, where she's like going up on the post, like and she brings her back down to give her the more of the 1,000 chops in the corner. This match was really good. It was hard hitting. It was strong style. It was everything you want in a Joshi match. That wasn't a high speed match. And then finally that German suplex. I think what was it, a clothesline beforehand, and then just watched it. So and I didn't write it down, but yeah, the suplex, the German suplex, and that's all she wrote for real. Her real was a very good match. I'll probably give it about 4 stars, but yeah, I really liked it. And then at the end, Benny comes out to challenge, so it makes sense why she's winning. Because one thing that Sendai Girls is really good with, they good with building up whoever's going to challenge next for the title, and they get a bunch of wins over us. That way, it's believable that they will challenge and possibly win the title. So yeah, we got Benny versus Chihiro Hashimoto coming up sometime soon.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be at the next like big event. Like they do these quarterly big event shows. So I
Yeah,
think that's where they said it's going to be. So I'm excited. You've been made mention like the last 2 months. Like I think Venny's going to get a challenge at a big
yeah.
show, and because they've been building her up, that's going to be fantastic. We've seen Venny and
Hmm.
Chirashimoto wrestle each other quite a bit in tags and singles. I'm really excited for it. Won't be shocked if they pull the trigger on Venny, but just kind of
No,
right now, I still think it's Hashimoto until it's time to bring Manami
Manami.
up when
Yeah.
Manami is ready. But not broke, don't fix it. They're doing great stuff with Chiro Hashimoto. Again, we're 6 months into this year. Chiro Hashimoto for me is the women's wrestler of the year. I think like maybe MJF, Darby Allen will probably or Takeshita probably gets the
Yeah.
nod right now, but I don't think there's anybody. I mean, Kamatani, I know she missed some time with injury. Kamatani, obviously, in the main event of matches, Starlight Kid, obviously the Sakura match, she's next level.
Hmm.
Suri, Takumi Roha's up there as well. But for me right now, I think Chiro Hashimoto is, as far as in ring goes, she's the wrestler of the year for me.
Yeah, because even all her tag matches are great. All the singles matches are great. Like she's not having any duds here at all.
No. Chiro Hashimoto is a special talent.
Mm.
My friend, we're going to go to the Women of Honor, and then we're going to talk about the Tokyo Joshi Pro Show.
Okay.
Before we do, Sendai Girls, we ran through a bunch of matches from 3 shows. Who did you have as your overall best hair and overall best gear?
The best hair, I gotta give it to my girl, Eureka Oka. Her new braids that I think are totally 100% real. She did some of that hair tonic that Ruaka had that one time. He got long hair all of a sudden. So yeah, Eureka Oka had the best hair. Her best gear, I, I think I gotta go with Miko Owada with her Black Panther silvery gear. She had that on for a couple of these matches, and that was really good. So best hair, Eureka Oka. Best gear, Miko Owada.
Ooh, and now I'm interested to see who they're going to face in
Yeah.
the finals from
Ooh, yeah.
Tokyo Joshi Pro, because we were alerted by our buddy Indy's like, there's a lot of new gear for
It
the Tokyo
was.
Joshi Pro. So yeah, high alert for you, sir. High alert for you. But let's go into the Women of Honor. Not one, not two, but 3 matches to talk about. And then we're going to be really loaded with the Women of Honor next week because they did a YouTube special last night. And then they also did some other matches. They did a YouTube special that last night had a match of former Tokyo Joshi Pro tag champions, the Iconics,
Mm-hmm.
taking on the team of former AEW Women's Tag Champion Harley Cameron and former Stardom, Goddess of Stardom Tag Champ Mina Shirakawa. So interesting. I didn't see any of that. Again, we'll be covering some of that next week. Again, they
I
did a
see one
special
clip
YouTube show.
already.
Yeah, that really wasn't my Ring of Honor, but
Yeah.
I'll watch
Yeah,
the
I
rest of the
know.
match and see how it goes. Good, so I'm sure it's a same clip
Yeah.
that I saw that I'm sure everybody else saw. But those 4 wrestlers are great. So
Mm-hmm.
and I know there's other matches to talk about as well. So probably have quite a bit on the docket for the Women of Honor for next week. But that's next week. Let's talk about this week. We open with Queen Aminata versus Lacey Lane. Again, Lacey Lane is fitting in perfectly to
Mm-hmm.
this version of Ring of Honor. I think when the time is right, I think she can plug in really well with the current top women in AEW because she's fantastic. Queen Aminata, she's such a hard hitter. So you have the hard hitting style Queen Aminata versus that fast paced style here of Lacey Lane. As we're building towards the end of this match here, Queen Aminata hits a fisherman screw, which is basically the fisherman suplex. But instead of taking them over, you basically do a neck breaker version of it.
Yeah.
That scores her a 2 count. Queen Aminata then hits a sit out version of the curtain call. It's almost like a reverse brain buster, but instead of taking, you're basically doing a sit out like the Michinoku driver. That scores her a 2 count. Lacey Lane comes back with a corner drop kick and a corkscrew elbow. Shout outs to the Great Muda for a 2 count. Queen Aminata then hits a brutal headbutt and a flatliner for a 2 count. And then Queen Aminata puts Lacey Lane away with a German suplex and a really brutal punk kick for the win. I gave this match 4 stars, buddy. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Again, Queen Aminata, since coming back from her injury, is really somebody that we've seen a lot in on Ring of Honor and AEW TV. We actually saw her kick ass literally on that marvelous 10th anniversary show from about a month ago. She's another one that you can fit into really and all these Joshi's coming over. Like you want to see Queen Aminata versus Hazuki, Queen Aminata versus maybe challenging
Mm.
Shuri, Queen Aminata versus Takumi Roha,
Yeah.
buddy. It's a lot there.
Yeah.
There's
There
a
we go.
lot
I mean,
there.
we did see her in that big tag match on the Marvelous show.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, she did great there. She's from, and again, I think she's trained by or she had some or trained with Chigusa Nageo. So
Yeah.
I think friend of the show Allison Danger did tip me off for that. So again, we'll see what happens. We have a lot of potential, and another wrestler I would love to see wrestle any one of these wrestlers coming over from Stardom is a former Stardom alumni, Deanna Perrazzo. Here, a
Mm-hmm.
match 2, pure taking on Isla Dawn, proving ground rules. Which again, Deanna Perrazzo is the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. So we have pure rules here. If Isla Dawn either gets the win or survives 10 minutes, she gets a future shot at Deanna Perrazzo's championship. We started out with some great wrist locks, and as much as I love a good lockup, good wrist lock is right there as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
right there. I'm a big fan of a good quality wrist lock. Deanna Perrazzo might be the queen of the wrist locks, buddy. Maybe that's the what we need to give her because then it makes
Sure.
sense because it fits up it fits into her armbar
Venus de
and yeah,
Milo.
and
Yeah.
the Venus de Milo. See that psychology. Isla Dawn is able to come back with a few European uppercuts and then hits a huge lariat. Isla Dawn hits a pump knee and the Samato or Meteora, whatever you want to call it, scoring Isla Dawn a 2 count. Isla Dawn then uses a half Nelson into a Russian leg sweep onto Deanna Perrazzo, or excuse me, half Nelson into a lung blower for a 2 count. Deanna Perrazzo comes back with a Russian leg sweep into the Fujiwara armbar. Isla Dawn gets out. Isla Dawn hits a pair of forearms in a beautiful snap Sayudo suplex, scoring Isla Dawn a 2 count. Diana Peraza then is able to use a fisherman takeover. So you know how like Yuna does the fisherman's into the cradle, but she uses
Yeah,
that to go to the arm. And I love there's so much relentless Diana Peraza going to the arm towards the end of this match. There's a lot of, if Steve Austin would say, struggle. Like it didn't look like overly like choreographed or pretty. It was like, I need to get that
yeah,
arm. And the Island Don's like, no, no, no. So eventually, Diana Peraza goes, basically gets an overhook, underhooks the leg, fisherman's takeover, floats over into the Fujiwara armbar for the immediate tap. 3.5 stars. There's about 2 minutes and 12 seconds left on the clock. And I love Diana Peraza winning matches with the Fujiwara armbar in these proving ground matches, because if you've ever been put legit into a Fujiwara armbar, you're tapping out
yeah,
immediately, buddy. If you don't believe me,
yeah.
I'll show you next time I see you.
Yeah,
But
the hyperextending of the arm. It's not fun at all.
no, not fun. I love Deanna Prazo. Again, they've been out, they've been teasing off and on the last few months something with her and Athena. Maybe that's the way
Mm,
they go, because Deanna Prazo is undefeated in these proving are in these pure rules matches since they started the pure women's division about a year ago. She hasn't lost. And Athena, I think Rob said when we previewed Athena versus Shuri for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, which again is
mhm.
next Thursday, I think Rob said it's her 36th or 37th defense of that belt.
Really?
So
Wow.
you have someone that's been champion for like 3 years going up against somebody that in this rule set has never lost. So that could be the big money match. We see Deanna Peraza versus Athena in pure rules with like a 60-minute
Yeah.
time limit. I'm all for that. Speaking of
Me too.
Athena, we have another proving ground match. Athena versus Hyan. Again, proving ground rules. If Hyan lasts the 10 minutes or defeats Athena, she can be the next challenger. Now, again, Caprice Copolman, Ian Riccaboni, chef's kiss on commentary. They did make mention that Athena has only lost one proving ground match, and that was to Maya World. And by losing, I mean Maya World did last the 10 minutes. They would have
Mhm.
a championship match about 2 weeks later, and it was one of the best Ring of Honor matches since they've been doing the new kind of studio setting, which I really enjoy. We start off with some really fantastic chain wrestling between the two. Hyan hits the corner Hurricanrana. She must be watching her Best of Beyond matches. There, Hyan. Then we have Athena hits a huge boot that sends Hyan to the floor. Athena hits a suicide dive that not only she hit Hyan, but I think she tried to take a Hyan through the barricade and into the third row. It was like Hazuki. It's like if you take Mayu's suicide dive and
Hmm.
Hazuki's and combine them, that's almost what you got with Athena. Just
Wow.
brutal stuff. Back in the ring we go. Athena just punishes poor Hyan with some chops and some snap kicks. Hyan comes back with a big boot and a Northern Light suplex. Then Hyan goes to the top rope, hits a top rope crossbody for a 2 count. Athena tries for a crossbody. However, Hyan hits a cutter out of nowhere and then follows up with the Falcon Arrow. Now we're counting down on time. And again, Caprice Coleman is
There you
doing
go.
a great. I'm thinking of Derek Coleman, the old NBA player from the '90s, is doing a great job. Like 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left. Now we're getting under 2 minutes. And then Hyan hits this great combination of cutter into a Falcon Arrow for a 2.9 count. And even Ian Riccaboni says, Caprice, do you think that Hyan should just run out the clock here because she's
Yeah.
up in the match, or should she get the win? She's like, no, have her stay aggressive, have her stay aggressive. So great job with the commentary, basically adding on to this match. We do have Athena comes back with a huge German suplex and then a front face power bomb. She uses that front face power bomb into the Koji clutch, and it looks like Hyan's going to try to almost get out. Hyan taps out with 92
Mhm.
seconds left. I had this at
Oh.
4 stars. If this was me, I would have had it come a little bit closer to the time limit. I would have
Yeah.
maybe had, like when Athena was going, it's a weird version of the power bomb that she does. I'd have maybe Hyan get out of it and hit like a big move, and then like try to stall up the clock, and then eventually have um Athena hit that power bomb and then go in the Koji clutch, maybe milk it a little bit more, because it was like, oh, can she last? I'm like, there's 92 seconds. There's like,
Yeah.
at that point, there's 100 seconds left. So it's like, could have sell the drama a little bit more. Again, who am I to tell Athena or Hyan how to work? This was great. Really fantastic stuff. 4 stars for me, my friend. Again, I'm loving what I'm seeing on the Women of Honor. We're going to be covering it each and every week on Talk Joshi, and we will be
Mhm.
sprinkling in a little bit of the great work we've been seeing on NXT as well, which again, I will be talking about Kalani Jordan and Kendall Gray next week on Talk Joshi, my
Hmm.
friend. So I'm gonna take a breath and I'm gonna get a quick
Yeah,
little
go ahead.
drink. And Andy Header, we're gonna talk about the show Tokyo Joshi Pro standalone on the 7th of June. Again, another sellout crowd. Again, and obviously it was sold out, little over 1,000 people. They did not open up the entire building. My guess for Summer Sun Princess, they will and they should. At least that's the way
Mhm.
I see it. I mean, if these last two Tokyo Joshi Pro shows in Corkin have sold out, Summer Sun Princess, I think you open this up to the 1,500, right, partner?
Yeah, like why wouldn't you open it up? I mean, just it just has to be they'll make more money if you made it this much and you open it up. Just why not try it? So I think they will open it up and get a little bit more people in for the big Summer Sun Princess.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through the quick results because we're going to review
Mm-hmm.
this entire show. We open with Arisa Endo, Kira Summer, and Sakura Hattori taking on the team of Yuki Aino, Ren Kanaso, and Shino Kanzaki. Shino does that thing where she has her opponent in the ropes and she makes it like she's singing.
Yeah,
She should. I like that because it gets the crowd involved and it's adding on to her character. But she holds them there too long. She should
yeah.
punch them, do
I
it.
thought that too. Yeah,
She should do
almost,
something to hold them because it's not
almost.
like she's like King Kong Bundy. Like
Yeah,
she weighs as much as my cat. Like
yeah,
but she's great and she's charismatic. And the crowd's into it. It's over. Don't get me wrong. But like if you're wrestling somebody that weighs probably 20, 30 pounds less than you and they're doing that, you're just gonna throw them
yeah.
off. So I think while she's up there, she should do the old Jerry Lawler like punches, right?
Yeah, in fact, and I thought that too. Almost make it like a 10 punch where she goes up and give a quick punch and then do the same thing. And then when she puts her hand up for the same thing, come down with another punch
Because
and
you're already
just kind of
there.
yeah, and just kind of whoa boom whoa boom. So she could do that. I mean, she's still workshopping it. It's cool that she's adding that the singer, the rocker thing into her gimmick here. But yeah, it takes a little bit too long if she's not going to throw punches. If she's going to throw punches, then she can milk it for a little bit more. So I believe Andy Sykes said something on his podcast where she's just taking a little too long. Why would that person just fight back or push her off or something? So yeah, if she throws in the punches, I think she got something there.
But again, she's only been wrestling 5 months, so I
Yeah,
think
so you
that
can't. Yeah,
she's over and she's
yeah.
great. She was terrific. Risa Endo was phenomenal. Hattori as well. Ren Kanatsu, wowzer, she was phenomenal. Give me a Ren Kanatsu versus a Risa Endo match on one of these
Mm.
tour shows, like 10, 11 minutes. Phenomenal. Yuki Aino and Arisa Endo, these two, that you kind of those were kind of the two main eventers of this match. But it's Risa Endo getting the win with the Herculean neckbreaker, 3.5 stars. I always say you want to start your shows off at a hot opener. This was a hot opener, and I believe this is Kiara Summer's last match before she goes back home for a little bit of time. I thought this was if this I believe it is. This was their final match here for a little bit. I think they did a mount. I think Mr. Haku, which again, Mr. Haku, phenomenal on
Mm.
commentary as always. I think this if I think they made mention that she is coming back, but this was her last match, a really good way to go out, a really fun match, and again, a hot opener to start, my friend.
Yeah, definitely a hot opener. I did feel that it was more an Arisa showcase than anything. I mean, everyone looked good here, but Arisa looked the best here. And I'm not just saying that because she had a fresh new dye job going on, and it always looks good when she gets the fresh new dye job. But then maybe a little bit of that Wonder Tonic to do a long ponytail here. But yeah, the match looked really good here. There was one part where Arisa hit a straight kick to Ren's face 2 times. I was like, ooh, that looked brutal. And then she hits that TKO neckbreaker, the Herculean neckbreaker, you call it, on Ren for the 1, 2, 3 here. Yeah, fun opening 6-man. You have nothing to complain about here. Yuki and Reese look good. Oh, you gotta say Yuki. Yeah, I know came out here looking like a totally different person. New gear, new long black hair. She had some of the Wonder Tonic too for her hair. I didn't even know it was her first. Oh, look at Yuki. I know, even looking more Final Fantasy like here with her new gear. So there's a lot of new gear, a lot of new hair. So Andy Zyke did not lie. This match was a very solid opener. I give it 3.5 too.
Yeah, fantastic. And again, folks, we're about 70 some odd minutes away from Dynamite, and no announcement that Sari will not be participating. So again, hopefully we don't jinx it and they open it with like she's not here. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're good to go. Again, yeah, you're right. Obviously the Arisa Endo showcase here for obvious reasons. We knew going into this match that her and Aja Kong is official for
Mm-hmm.
Summer Sun Princess. Match number 2, Chicken and Nas taking on the returning Yuria. Phenomenal match, really great, basic, hard hitting match. I think they said Yuria is the violence Barbie or something like that. They said her
Yeah.
name
What
was
was
the.
that?
It was something I thought was really funny. But Yuri getting the win with the heel hook. She used the heel hook to go into the rear naked choke. The old Billy Robinson attack the body like the ladder. Thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought Chicken and Nas, even in a loss here, she's getting a singles match in a sold out Korakuen Hall show that's got 3 championships on it.
Mm-hmm.
Really goes to show you that they're starting investing in Chicken and Nas, which I am all for. 3.5 stars for me. I thought this was a really great follow up to the opening match.
And she just showed some aggression here too. She had a couple new moves here, so she looked pretty good. Getting a little evolution for her character here. I did like Yuri's gear. Yuri looked great here with her silver, black, and red gear here. She did what I like to call. I think it's like kind of like the Ganasuki clutch, where you do that right around the waist, and you do into a roll up, and then she did that into a sleeper. That was a really nice transition into the finish. So I was like, that was really cool. And then she taps out here. But yeah, she looked good. You looked good. No complaints. I gave it 3.25 stars, but still a good match.
Match number 3, Wanaka Forever, getting her revenge on the show from the
Mm-hmm.
30th, defeating Toga when Wanaka blocks the absolute zero. She hits a little on the stiffski side
Mm-hmm.
of the step up Enziguri and the sushi tornado for the 3 count. 3.5 stars. I thought this was a little bit too short. I wish this one would have got a little bit more time, but this was a really great showcase for Wanaka, especially towards the end. She looked really strong.
Mm-hmm.
We'd find out in about 2 hours' time why she was built up so strong, my friend. Three and a
Mm-hmm.
half stars for me. I'm really enjoying as much as like Uber Eats as a tag team since they lost the belts. I'm enjoying the singles matches we're getting. Obviously, Kamayu gets the big main event here. Wanaka, she's got a big match coming up next time in
Mm-hmm.
Korakuen Hall. But I'm enjoying the single stuff that we're seeing from both members of Uber Eats.
Yeah, me too. I did kind of predict that Wakana where she's gonna go here and
You
kind of
did,
get there.
sir.
So I mean, but it's cool that she's getting the wins here, and like Yuki got a couple wins leading up to her Kamiyu, I should say, because they're still Yukis. Yeah. Getting the wins up to their title matches here. This match, yeah, I agree, a little too short here. It's kind of maybe a little one-sided. Toga, new hair, some new short lavender juice going on there. But yeah, Wakana gets so she has some nice drop kicks in the match, but she gets the sushi roll, and she gets another win towards her push to the international princess title. I gave it 3.25 stars. Good match, but yeah, it could have been a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm looking at the timer, 8 minutes and 58 seconds, so a little
Yeah.
under 9 minutes. Then you understand why, because I mean, the
Yeah.
next match where we have Mirai versus Haru Kazushiro. Now, I'd not watched this show live, and I kind of figured this was kind of an easy show to predict, maybe of an upset here or there in like the 6-person tag or whatever, and kind of figure where it was going to go. And everyone told me how great one the tag match was, which jeepers, and how great Haru looked against Mirai. Now, obviously, Haru, we know that she's game. We've seen her get so
Hmm.
much better the last 6 months. She had that great match with Suzume the last time they were here in Korakuen Hall. You know Mirai is going to take care of Haru. By that, I mean she's going to give her quite a bit in the match, and she did. This was great because it was arm work for arm work. It was great psychology. It was great reversals. It was great, almost like the catch wrestling style, counter for counter, where eventually Mirai is able to hit she hits a huge Mirror Mirai shock to sit out DVD, and then she just uses an armbar and do a double armbar into a stretch muffler. I mean, she had Haru, really the point where Haru couldn't tap out. It had to be a verbal tap out because, like, I
Hmm.
can't tap on anything because Mirai's got
She had
me.
no free arms.
She had no free anything. Yeah, I mean, we need
Yeah.
to tap your nose, but I thought this was great. Haru, even a loss here, very much like the Suzume match, really showed that she is the future of this company. 4 stars for me. Just a fantastic match. Always great seeing Mirai in Tokyo Joshi Pro. And
Hmm.
obviously Mirai is announced for Summer Sun Princess as
Yeah,
well.
sticking around. Some more dates with Mariah Tokyo Joshi Pro. I'll take it. The one thing I didn't like about this match was their gear looked very similar. So they almost look like a tag team. They both have light blue and dark blue. So I was like, they kind of look like a tag team here, but that's just nitpicking. Other than that, Mariah's hair looked good. Harold's hair looked good. So on to the match here. Haru barely kicked out of that cradle shock, the Mirror Mariah, the DVD into the Michinoku driver. I was like, ooh, that was a really good near fall for the kick out there. And then when Mariah locked on that crazy submission here, where it's like one arm, two arm, a leg even, I was like, that is crazy. I'm sure it has a name. I don't know the name, but that was crazy. But Haru, maybe one of her best matches, probably because what was
I
her
think the Suzume match a little
and
bit better.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was probably a little bit better, but she's doing really good in her singles run here. Looking good, and of course Mariah is just great all around. Plus, I was reminded how good her music was when she came out. Like Mariah's music is really good. 3.75 stars for me for this one.
Yeah, always great seeing Mirai, especially in
Mm-hmm.
these companies that we cover quite a bit, Tokyo Joshi Pro, and when she goes back to Marigold from time to time as well. She just did the one match, but regardless, 3-way tornado tag, and I'm glad that
Mm-hmm.
they made the announcement. Tornado tag, legal tags. There are no legal tags. Palm Harajuku and Riku taking on Karako Kome, Hyper Masao, and Shoko Nakajima, and taking on Himawari and Mifu Ishida. Now, before we get in this match, buddy, obviously Himawari and Shino Suzuki, Prism Grid, excuse me, Bumping Gritters. They're the usual tag team. We know
Hmm.
Shino's taking time off. We don't know how long for. If they want to put Himawari and Mifu together, I'm all for it. And I was all
Yeah,
for on
no.
the entrance. The charisma and the energy of these two, with Mifu coming in as the cheerleader and getting everybody going. Himawari does the whole hair whip thing, and she's got great energy and great and really, really great passion and great charisma. Just on the entrance alone, I was like, I know they were kind of just put together just to kind of be in this, right? Because this obviously was the Shoko and Hyper show for
Yeah.
obvious reasons, which we'll get into. But Himawari and Mifu, even in this match, there's a lot of comedy. There was a lot of gaga. I thought their stuff was terrific.
Yeah. They
Uh,
kind of meshed pretty well, and Mifu had the braids like Himawari.
yes, I'm all. If there's Mifu teamed up great with Yuki Arai in the tag tournament. Obviously, Yuki Arai is the champion, and if they do a long term run with her, I am all for Himawari and Mifu being a team. I would love to see a little push. I'd love to see Himawari and Mifu versus Mizuki and Uda, as
Ooh,
well as
yeah.
Daydream. Again, this match was fun, but I just kind of did you see what I saw? Where they're like, there's potential, a lot of potential of a Mifu Ishida and Himawari team.
Yeah, it almost felt like they kind of have a more charisma together than Himawari and Shino. So I was like, they sometimes that happens. I mean, you just throw two people together and like, hey, this is really working out. So who knows in the future if they continue to tag up? But I'm all for it.
Yeah, this was fun. Again, you had a lot of comedy. I did how like they were like there's no legal tags. We didn't get them. I can't stand it. We just there was that great hardcore match at Stardom All Star Grand Queendom with Suzuki and Rina Yamashita versus Hanako and Micah, where they're like
Mhm.
stapling flowers into
Yeah,
each other's
yeah.
head, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to do a legal tag." I'm like, "No, no, what's the
Like it makes no sense.
point?" That match was great, don't get me wrong, but there was no tags. They didn't need them. This was all over the place. You had your great wrestling, you had your comedy, a little bit of everything was sprinkled in here. But we do have Shoko rolling up Palm Harajuku. Palm hits the palm to just on Himawari, and Shoko, using her veteran experience, Andy had her taking advantage
Yeah,
of the situation, knowing that everybody's legal, getting the rolled up win
yeah.
on Palm. 3.25 stars. Fun match with a really cool finish.
Yeah, I really like this one. A couple of my favorites in here. One of my favorite spots was they did a tug of war with Himawari's braids. I was like, that has to hurt a little bit. That was pretty cool. Okay, the Sleepy Time Express, they called it. Apparently, it has a name and is the Oasumi Express. Oyasumi Express. Oyasumi, I think I said that right, which means good night in Japanese. So there we go. The Good Night Express, the Oyasumi Express. That's when Palm and Raku did the run over thing when they slam the person down. There was a double guillotine by Raku, looked very good, and then Himawari hit a double natural selection like Charlotte does on Palm and Raku, but then the Palm of Justice on Himawari, and then Shoko comes in with the float over pin. I really liked that. I thought it was a fun tornado tag, fun three-way. I actually gave it 3.75 stars. I really liked it.
And now we get into our final three matches, championship matches, Suzume versus Mihiro Kirill.
Oh, before we
Now,
do, there was the after match
oh,
stuff.
I have it
Yeah,
right here. I didn't
yeah.
write anything down, but I'm looking here at the results. So after this, we have a whole bunch of title changes here. So
Mm-hmm.
we do have Shoko Nakajima pinning Sumire, who I believe is like the because they did say there's like a vampire.
Maid Cafe or something that she
Yeah.
she's running, and she's a voice actress, but yeah, she's evolved. I don't know if this is in connection with an anime or a show or something, but yeah, Vampire Maid Cafe.
So Shoko defeats her, wins the championship. It's
Hmm.
because we haven't had the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal Championship title change in quite some time. And then Andy Header, we get at least for a moment Hyper Misao and Shoko. The mega powers explode.
Hmm.
Hyper pinning Shoko, new champion. Hyper Misao is the new DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal Championship, but we're not done yet. We do have Palm Harajuku pinning Hyper Misao to win the championship. Now it's saying here on the results that Palm got beat for the belt. I thought Palm walked off of the belt with the belt.
At least she walked off with the belt of what we seen. I don't know if there was
It's
like something on
saying
the internet or something.
Kazuki Harati. I don't even know who that is.
I don't have no idea. That must have been a backstage thing. Yeah, because Palm rolls up Hyper Misao and then she leaves with the title. So unless we totally missed it, but I don't know how we both totally missed it. So I I don't know if tune into Tokyo Joshi Pod to figure out what happens there. But yeah, we'll have to go online and see what happened there because Palm was the yeah, I wrote down the 1,820th DDT Iron Man champion, but I guess she lost it to whoever you said there.
He's a
Not sure.
comedic wrestler that wrestles for DDT.
Oh, Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
seeing here. Yeah. How about that?
Hmm.
Oh, know the belt's gonna eventually wind up on my hero. Speaking of my
Yeah.
hero, we knew that Mahiro had to go out and give a great match. We
Hmm.
knew Suzume was going to give Mahiro a great match. Suzume's had put on some classics this year, like really a great, phenomenal wrestler. She's that wrestler that you're going to have a terrific match. Her as international princess champion's fantastic. Would not be shocked if by this time next year she is either challenging or she is the princess
Hmm.
champion. I think she's one of the few wrestlers in this company that can hold the belt. She has a crowd connection. She's one of the best workers in this fantastic company. This was great. They did a great job hiding Mahiro's weaknesses and
Hmm.
exploiting her strengths. Suzume made sure that she gave Mahiro enough in this match. We go to the outside. We do some wild bumps.
Hmm.
We get a few near falsies. They did put over Mahiro's spinebuster again. The first champions versus challengers tag match. Mahiro pinned Suzume clean with the spinebuster. And again, I think it was Bali Naka. I think he was Mr. Haku here. They did a great job talking about that and building that up. There was some really fun stuff here. There was Suzume hits a facebuster off the top rope onto the eye hook
Hmm.
onto Mahiro. That basically spells Mahiro's doom as eventually Suzume hits the ring a bell, a facebuster, and then another ring a bell for a 3 count. I thought Mahiro was great here. I like how Suzume hit the ring a bell as a defensive move because she's getting hit like just clobbered from
Hmm.
Mahiro, and the people are rallying behind Suzume. And Suzume has to hit the ring a bell just to kind of get away from Mahiro. So not only is not as an offensive move, but a defensive move. But eventually, it's the face buster into the ring a bell that puts away Mahiro. 4.25 stars. This is great. Mahiro's best match by a mile, and
Hmm.
Suzume just continues to have just fantastic matches this year in Tokyo Joshi Pro.
Yeah, and there was some real good stuff in this. By my hero who had new gear, another person on the show who had new blue gear here. The bulldog on the outside on the floor was pretty crazy, and like I said, a defensive ring a bell out of nowhere. So I like how she's doing the ring a bell quite like Randy Orton out of any time, out of any. One of the best things that Mihiro did in this match, probably the best thing, is Suzume goes for a springboard and Mihiro catches her and turns it into the spine buster. But that was really nice, looked really good here. There was a little gory bomb by Suzume that looked a little off there, but they still got through it. Then finally that rope walk face buster, and then the ring of bell 1, 2, 3. I give it 3 and 3/4 stars. Good match, Mihiro's best match because usually she does a comedy match, usually all comedy, all silly stuff. But yeah, very solid match here.
Yeah, and then afterwards we have Wanaka Forever, Uehara Wanaka. It will come
Mm-hmm.
out. She'll be challenging Suzume and will take place on the next Korakuen Hall show, which just happens to be Summer Sun Princess. Again, we mentioned either last week or the week before that we are going to be interviewing Suzume to help promote that show. This will help move our interview along, Andy Header, as we now find out who our opponent is. So again,
Mm-hmm.
the recent endo questions have been sent in. Hopefully, we'll be getting those back and we can send them to Tokyo Joshi Pro. But we now know Suzume's opponent, so the Suzume interview hopefully will be up in the next month or so.
Mm-hmm.
But that match will be great. Again, Wanaka, I think, has been looking really well. I'm really excited for Wanaka to be taking on Suzume in the next Korakuen Hall show, my friend.
Yeah, and it's cool how over Eats one got the world title shot, while Princess one gets the international Princess title shot, which I said I think Mukana's kind of going there, and she comes out the challenge for the title, and a very believable challenge for Suzume. I don't think Wakana's going to win the title from Suzume, but it should be a good match nonetheless.
Believable. I like that. That's
Hmm.
perfect. Believable. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's
she'll
not
give
like, oh, Suzume's winning this one. It's like, well, maybe.
it's a possibility. And Wanaka's stronger, so Suzume
Hmm.
can feed off that and get sympathy behind her, even though they're both over as baby faces. But Suzume is there's not too many people more over in this company than Suzume because
Hmm.
she's fantastic. Semi-main event. So many people told me how great this match was, and I
Hmm.
had high expectations. This blew us out of the water. This was I might go back and watch this. I might probably tomorrow. Um, this was great. Miyu Watanabe, Rika Tatsumi, Daydream, the champions, making their V0 or their V1, taking on the team of Mizuki and Uda Takami. Miyu Watanabe, Rika, and Mizuki are main eventers in this company and have been for years. This match was all to me. Everybody was phenomenal. Everybody, if I'm grading, everybody goes, I guess, an A+. Was it just me? Was Uda seem like to be almost like the star of this match?
Hmm.
Like they made sure it
She took a
wasn't like, oh,
beating
we
too.
yeah, well, it wasn't like, oh, we only gave Uda 2 or 3 spots, and those
Yeah.
2 or 3 spots she was fantastic. It really seemed like this match was built around Uda. They got Uda over. which goes to show the unselfishness of the other three wrestlers,
Hmm.
especially Miyu and Rika. Did she take a beating? Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Absolutely, she did. I do want to talk about the finish. It seems like obviously we had Daydream Eternity is their finish. Now it does seem like that they're doing a where they're doing a teardrop into a missile hip attack.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was a little off. The way that I'm seeing the way that they should do it, and again, who am I to tell these two people how to wrestle? Because we used to do this spot. Somebody would get me for the power bomb, and you would jump off my back and hit the insecurity. And I
Hmm.
remember you would obviously fall to the right, and then I would fall to the right on the cell, and you kept landing on top of me. And I'm like, well, how do I change this? And I was like, Matt, you dumbass. Andy's hitting the insecure. He's obviously going to fall to the right. He's not going to float all the way
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Why don't you sell to the left and Andy sell to the right? And I was like, oh, duh. And then not only did it work, it looked cool. You're over here, I'm over here. Then I can make the hot tag to you. I'm like, it's set up for so many other things. The way that I'm seeing, I think that Miyu needs to have, I think she had Uda off on the wrong side because Rika's coming over. And when they fell, they kind of hit. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
what me and Header used to do. Again, 100% my fault. But I was like, I think it's a great finish. I like the Daydream Eternity for the big title matches. Use this because now they have two tag finishers,
Yeah. Why not
and
have two?
and not only that, but you're using two big moves and you're combining them, the teardrop and the missile hip attack. So I just think that Miyu needs to have her opponent on the other side. And I think once they workshop it, I think it's going to be flawless. But I mean,
Hmm.
still, it wasn't done perfectly, but it was done like an 8 out of 10. The
Yeah.
rest of this match was a 10 out of 10. Phenomenal. Now, I do another question I want to ask you before I go to your notes. I know you do the bulldog quite a bit. You do the acid arrow into the
Hmm.
bulldog. All the times you've done the bulldog, you've had to do the bulldog at least 100 times, at
At
least, right?
least. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of taking the person when you had them in the bulldog, running into the middle of the ropes, then you run off the second, third rope, and then you do a sunset flip? Have you ever
No.
thought? I've never seen that
Yeah.
before. I
That
was
was cool.
like, is she the new innovator of
You're
Joshi
like,
offense, Uda Takami?
yeah, it's like it's spike acid drop. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
Unbelievable. And then
hmm.
I'll tell you what, you want to talk about combining two moves together? The koala clutch,
Oh
Miyu's on
yeah.
the selling. And all of a sudden, here comes Mizuki with the double stomp.
Yeah.
I was like, and I knew who won this match. I knew who should have won this match. I was like, man, if I didn't know, that would have been a great finish.
Yeah.
That would have been a great finish. This match was phenomenal. I was so torn between 4 3/4 and 5 stars. If anything, I would have given like a 4.9 because to me it was better than 4 3/4, but not as good as 5 stars. I did give it 4 3/4 stars. As far, I mean, this is one of the best tag matches I've seen in Joshi. This is, and I
Hmm.
may be crazy. I know I am. To me, this is just, I'm not saying it's better. This is just as good as Spark Rush versus Yamashita and Endo and Spark Rush versus Hashimoto and Shuri from the Suri anniversary show from Suriism. I don't think it's as good as FTR versus the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view a few months
Yeah.
ago. It was I think it was the opener. But I don't think it was as good as that. But I mean, this is one of the best Joshi tag matches I've ever seen. Not as good as Daydream versus Daisy Monkey from the 2024 finals of the Max Heart tournament, but just as good as some of those great Daydream versus Magical Sugar Rabbit
Hmm.
matches. That's how much I enjoyed it. And the fact they got Uda over in this match just goes to show you how much I love this. Again, 4 3/4 stars. This is phenomenal, phenomenal match, buddy. I love this.
Yeah, this is a very good match. Probably my favorite match of the show. Maybe my favorite match of all the shows, the matches we're covering here. Mizuki did have new gear here. She had white and blue on. There was,
I did
yeah,
notice
yeah.
that, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, look at that. There we go. I like that one of the double team moves that Mizuki and Uda did was the drop kick into a neck breaker. That looks really good. I hope they keep that. Miyu here showing the strength with the double. It took a little bit to set up, but the double giant swing, where she had both Uda and Mizuki at the time, yeah, they're both small, but it's two people at once, and that looked awesome.
Not to cut you off, she has done the double swing, but she's never done with one in the front, one in the
Yeah,
back, which is
yeah,
even harder. That's
yeah.
even more difficult.
So like, I get why it took a little bit to set up, but then when it happened, the payoff was worth the setup. I thought that looked really good here. There was a really nice jumping power slam by on Uda by Miyu. It looked awesome. Uda was off the ropes and just jumped up and like wow, snapped it. It was like Ron Simmons beating Vader for the world title back in what '93 or whatever that was in WCW. That looked awesome. Then finally, the Daydream returning to Mizuki. A little rough looking there, but then that double stomp by Rika and the driver by Miyu onto Udo. 1, 2, 3. Daydream gets the win here, which we all kind of figured that they would. A great match. They did beat the hell out of poor little Udo, but Udo looked good here. And sometimes in a loss, you come out looking better than a win. So, yeah, great match all around. I give it 4.5 stars, but if you say 4 3/4, almost 5, I get it. It was a really, really good match. And probably the best match of the show.
Yeah, best match. The best match of these. The Sendai Girls stuff was great. Again, I watched
Hmm.
all of the Sendai Girls matches. We just cherry picked the ones that we really want to talk about. And Sendai Girls, everything was 4.25 to 4.5. This was the
Hmm.
best match of these 5 shows, and they're all great.
Yeah.
Again, the embarrassment of riches we're getting covering Joshi Pro Wrestling. After the match,
Hmm.
Hyper and Shoko Nakajima, they come out to challenge. That's going to be great. My thing is, again, Summer Sun Princess is one of the biggest shows of the year. Obviously, you have the Itian show. You do have a Grand Princess. You do have Wrestle Princess. So it's either the third or fourth biggest show of the year. So they kind of almost have to outdo what they did here. Obviously, I love Mizuki and I love Uda. Shoko, if you're asking me, Shoko is the best of the bunch between those teams. Again, it's
Hmm.
not that far off. I mean, Mizuki's a special talent, but Uda has been wrestling a lot better lately. And I'm
Hmm.
enjoying Uda's matches better than Hyper's. Hyper's obviously more of a comedic character. Now, when she
Yeah.
teams with Shoko, she's great. My question to you, buddy, is can they get to this level? I'm not saying can it be better,
Yeah.
but it's almost has to be just as good because Summer Sun Princess is one of your big shows. And again, we think they're going to open up to more seats. Obviously, Shoko and Hyper are bigger stars as a team than Mizuki and Uda, just because Mizuki and Uda haven't been teaming that long. And everybody loves Hyper Misao. She is a
Yeah.
really solid wrestler. She's not by no means is she, prime Kurt Angle, but she is
No.
a really good wrestler that's over. So my question to you is, do you think this match with Daydream versus Kome is going to be better than what we just saw with Mizuki and Uda? Because that's a high bar to get.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, you do have Shoko, so maybe like whatever
More
Hyper
Shoko?
doesn't bring, yeah, whatever Hyper doesn't bring, Shoko does bring. So maybe, I mean, it's gonna be real tough. So I'm gonna probably say probably not as good as this, but it will be good. But not as good as this, but hopefully it will be. But we'll see. We'll see.
Only one way to find out, buddy, and that's to
Hmm.
tune in to not only Summer Sun Princess interviews done by myself and you, but don't
Hmm.
forget to tune at the same time for the start of the 5-star Grand Prix.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
busy times
Tell you
ahead. And
what,
then doesn't Marigold's tournament start what, a week or two later?
Marigold, they're actually doing something different. Their tournament starts a few days after the 5-star Grand Prix ends.
Oh,
The first
good.
2 years they did the Dream Star. Yeah, so the tournament season just rolls around. Even this weekend, buddy, if you think about it, obviously we have AW tonight with again Sari versus Sky Blue, which we're still thinking is happening.
Hmm.
Then we have the MLW shows this weekend with Saya and Rena. And then we have on
Collision.
Sunday the Korakuen Hall show that has FWC versus O2 line on it. And then we have Collision on Saturday. And then next Wednesday, we have Hazuki versus Mercedes Monet. Thursday, the next Thursday, we have Global Wars. That's going to have more stardom talent on it, but Sherry versus Athena. So, I mean, jeez. And then,
Yeah.
then we got the conversion next weekend as well.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh my.
What a great time to be alive,
Busy.
buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
Lots
I
of
can
good
never go into
wrestling
a
to watch.
coma. I'm like, I'm too busy.
Yeah, I got too much wrestling to die. I'm
Yeah.
busy.
Like in the words of Kevin Smith, another reason to stay alive. I want to see what's happening
Hmm.
on Spider-Man and Doomsday and the conversion and all this stuff there. So wowzers,
There's
great.
new Spider-Man movie, new Supergirl movie in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that is. So a
Something
lot of good
else
stuff.
too was coming out. Another comic. No, they're re-releasing Endgame with more footage that's going to tie
Oh
into
wow.
Doomsday.
Wow, how about that? Well, why not? Moneymaker, why not? I still haven't watched Spider-Man Nora yet, so I heard that's pretty good. I want to watch that.
From what I understand, the cast for Spider-Man Noir already signed on for season 2 without no
Really?
script.
Wow, how
Yeah,
about
that's
that?
how much they love
Oh,
doing
and
it.
you know
So
what else is right around the corner? I think maybe in a week or two. X-Men '97 season 2.
I was going to ask you. I knew there was something I had to ask you. I
Yeah.
thought that had already started, or is that next
I,
week?
I looked and there was an ad for it, and I was like, oh, it's up, and I clicked on it. It was just the last season, so I think it's next week or at the most 2 weeks. But yeah, it's real soon.
It's going to be soon because my comic shop had
The issue
X-Men
came out. I got it. Yeah.
97. Yeah, issue. I'm so far behind. I was like,
Yeah,
guys,
me
thanks,
too.
but no. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Like they always do. Hey, you get every X-Men. I'm like, I'm so far behind because I'm
Yeah.
watching phenomenal Joshi action.
Hmm.
So behind in a good way.
Only so many
But
hours in a day.
that's it, my man. Just add a 25th hour. I think I'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I think I'll be
Give us
good.
another day in the week. 8 days in a
Yeah.
week.
8 days a week, just no work
Mm.
day. Give me a day
Yeah,
off,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that I can read comics. But let's go to this main event, final match we're going to talk about from this long yet phenomenal shows that we're doing. Again,
Hmm.
so blessed to just be talking about great Joshi action. Main event time, Yuki Arai, what a defending champion, taking on Yuki
Hmm.
Kamafuki. Again, Yuki Arai just won this belt just less than 3 months ago. Now, ours already defended against J-Rod and Arisa Endo. Now she's taking on Kamiyu. Another really fantastic match. They did a great job building this match up in the preview tags, really showing what great chemistry they have. But eventually, though, it is just too much Yuki Arai. And I think I did text you. I think I was on line 3 of making my notes. And I text you and I was like, I don't know if you've seen this match yet.
Yuki.
I'm just going to give you a little bit of advice. Take it or leave it. When you're doing your notes, do Arai and Kamiyu. Because I was like, Yuki, Yuki. Not only
Yeah.
is it Yuki and Yuki, it's the boots. Because I was like, well, how many? We should have had an over under. There had to be at least 15 big
We
boots
should have counted. Yeah, but they both do
thrown
it.
this match. And you knew it was going to happen. I like how Arai used the step up, one leap, one boot to Yuki
Hmm.
Kamafuki. And even like Mr. Haku's like, oh, using Kamiyu's move, she's not going to be happy with that.
No.
And then we do have Kamiyu taking Arai to task. Phenomenal finish here as we do get a top rope fight between the two. We get a top rope full Nelson Buster. And then we get the
The
finally, I'm
muscle.
like, oh, that what a great finish. Kamiyu kicks out. So now we're
Hmm.
building the drama. And this is the drama they didn't do in the Miyu Watanabe match where she won the belt, where she hit one finally, and that was it. I'm like, ooh, they could have got more if they built it. This is basically, I think, the ending that they did here. They should have added to the Grand Princess match, which they
Hmm.
would have gotten more out of. It was a great match. I think they really could have stretched it. So we have Kamiyu kicking out of the finally for a 2 count. We get the finally blocked from Kamiyu STO, and then with Kamiyu going to put away Arai with the famouser that gets blocked, and then we almost get a version of the Masahiro Chono Shining Black, and then the finally for the final 3 count
Hmm.
of this match, 4.25 stars. Really a fantastic match, good sir.
Yeah, I thought this was a good match. My only problem, and I don't know if the match didn't live up to what I thought, or it had to follow what just
I think
happened, which
that's
I
what it
think that's
was.
what it was. So no matter who was in this, it's a bad position. So you're like, it's not so good because you just seen something that was really great. I mean, we did see the Stardom where it's great match, great match, great match. So that's maybe why I was a little down on this match. It was good. It was like the battle of the big boots. Like I said, I did like the Uncle Slam off the second rope there, and then off the second, and then the superplex there. The first finally, which I'm like, well, that's it. Then Cameo kicked out. Hey, Cameo had new gear here. She looked great. Totally new gear for her. Totally different design. She looked
She
really good.
disrobed in the aisleway. Like she made it
Yeah.
look like it was her own walkway. She was like, I'm not going to wait to get into the ring.
Yeah, you got to see this new stuff. I'm so proud about it. But yeah, this match, well, it was good. I only gave it 3 3/4, but maybe because I just seen what I just seen, and that's why I was a little bit of a down. So I like good match, not a great main event. It was just a little off in the beginning, but then they found their way and they got it here. But then that finally, for the final time, the second time, and Yuki Arai keeps the title here, which we all kind of thought she would retain here. And then, surprise, surprise, someone takes a red eye flight, probably just after winning the title from Kris Statlander, she hopped on a plane, flew back to Japan. Miyu Yamashita comes out and she challenges Yuki Arai for the title. So I'm excited for that. That one may be a little bit more believable if Miyu wins the title, and maybe she will.
I don't know on that one.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's
my heart
close,
is saying Yamashita, but maybe they want to get a ride to that
and that would help.
Shoko,
Yeah,
the Shoko, Mizuki, Miyu level. And what a better way to do it than have her beat all of the
Miyu.
top
Yeah.
stars. Like maybe then Mizuki's the next challenger. Maybe Mizuki wins the Tokyo Princess Cup, or like that's the way to go because obviously Yuki Arai drawing really well as champion here in Korakuen
Mm-hmm.
Hall. 2 sellouts back to back. The crowd is really behind her. My little thing, I think Yuki Rai's great. I think she's doing a great job as champion. She, to me, as far as work in the ring, she's not on the Miyu Shoko
No,
Mizuki
no.
level. Then I mean, and that maybe that's not fair. You know
That's
what I
high.
mean?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
high
that
bar.
is a really high, but not unless like they bring Saya Kamatani in, she wins the belt. Like there's not
Yeah.
too many Joshis getting to that level. But like Arai wins, and again, the crowd is all behind her. Really fantastic match. Again, as champion. I mean, I made mention this when me and you did our review of Grand Princess with Andy Zyke. Is like, oh, you're taking the belt off a champion that's been drawing in Miyu
Mm-hmm.
Watanabe. How's it going to work? She has that great match with J Rod in Vegas. Obviously, the houses were down in Vegas for everybody because of the WWE trend, because
Yeah.
and how expensive everything was because of everything going on here in the States, which obviously I'm not going to get into. So I'm like, mulligan on that. Great match with J Rod. Phenomenal. And it's like, okay, let's see how you're going to do in your own country. 2 for 2, buddy. The
Hmm.
Endo, I like the Endo match the best out of anything that she's done as champion. I think that was her
Yeah.
best match. I think I even like the Endo match she had better than when she beat Watanabe for the belt
Yeah.
against
That
Sumo.
was
Again,
probably the best one.
it's subjective, but again, selling out Korakuen Hall twice. Now you got Yamashita, and again, literally they could have had Yamashita cut a promo. It might have been something where like, hey, the show ends here. You got 2 hours to get on a plane. Maybe it just happened to be that way.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens because you literally could. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if you've seen the pictures of they had with Yamashita with the belt after she won it and the lighting. Like she just looks like the absolute cool badass that she is. So you could have cut a promo right there. But like the
Yeah.
fact that she came out, and I knew this because again, I didn't see the show live because this was on a Sunday. But like I saw the pictures and I was like, is that AI? And
Yeah.
Yamashita came out to a huge reaction. My only thing is I would have had her music hit. I think
Yeah.
that would have maybe got a bigger react. Regardless, everyone's like,
Milk it
maybe
a little bit.
yeah,
Have
or
music
maybe
hit, and then like 10 seconds, then she goes out.
like Utami when Utami came back to
Yeah.
Stardom a few weeks ago, he got a massive reaction. So regardless, the fact that it's Yamashita's up next, and the fact that she just hours after pretty much knocking out Kris Statlander because that was kind of the finish
Hmm.
is the next challenger. Yeah, I'm not sure which way it goes. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for all
Harder.
3 of these
Hmm.
matches that we have, all 4 of the matches with the Aja Kong match as well and Arisa Endo. I don't know which way it's going to go. Obviously, we'll have we'll probably do a big preview episode with Andy Zyke
Hmm.
in about a month's time. But I'll say this, man. I'll say this. I don't know which way the main event goes. Again, if you're really going to put over your Yuki Arai, have her beat Yamashita here, then have her beat Mizuki
Yeah.
and Shoko next. I mean, it's just an establisher. But I'll say this, and I mentioned this. I did a quick little review of this show on my TikTok and my YouTube, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna throw it to you whether you agree with me with or not. I think Arisa Endo absolutely needs to beat Aja Kong. Aja Kong does not eat a lot of else,
Yeah.
especially in Japan in singles matches. I think Arisa Endo should, and that's my prediction. Arisa Endo beats Aja Kong. Let's say you, buddy. Like, what's your quick prediction on that?
I think she should too. So I think probably she will because I think Arisa Endo is your next Princess champion. Somehow I don't know how they get there, but I think the way she's getting hot, and they remember she lost that match, and then who did she take on when she lost when she lost Suzume, right? Or
She
no,
lost
who
to
did she?
Yuki Arai.
You're right. Yeah, yeah. She lost
Yeah.
there, but like she came out looking a little bit better. So I think Arisu will win the title at some point. I don't know how we'll get there. Beat Naja Kong. I mean, there's more to gain from Arisa beating Aja Kong than Aja Kong beating Arisa. I mean, nothing against her, but it just makes more sense that way. So I think that's how they're going to go. I think Arisa will win, and I don't know when she'll get the title shot. Probably, a little bit more down the line here. And then with Yuki and versus Miyu, I don't think Yuki's going to drop the title because it seems a little too soon. But like if she did, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean it's me, Masha. My
Mm-hmm.
friend, I did tell my wife I'd be ready for dinner at 7:30. So about 4 minutes to
How about
break
it?
down. Now let's do anything else you want to talk about, buddy. You we ready to end this phenomenal
One,
episode, buddy? Go ahead.
one,
Oh my
one
goodness.
thing
Who had
we got.
best hair,
Yeah.
best gear, and best overall hair and best gear? So we do have the winner of Sendai Girls. It was Eureka Oka with best
Mm-hmm.
hair and Mika Owada with best gear.
Best
So
gear.
for this phenomenal show with a whole bunch of new gear and
Tons of
great
new gear.
hair, who had best hair and best gear, good sir?
I gotta say this. It comes down to an all Yuki affair here. With the notes here, good thing I wrote down some last names here. So for best hair, I was torn between Risendo and Yuki Rai, but Yuki Rai looks so cool with the long black hair and the new gear. I saw Yuki Aino. Sorry, get the mix up all the time. Yuki
Okay.
Aino, yeah, Yuki Aino with the long black hair. She gets best hair, not Yuki Rai, the champion. Yuki Aino, who was in the first match. And now for best gear, I guess they narrows it down. Kamiyu, Yuki Kamifugu, when she came out and threw it off, and wow, she looks really great. So yeah, Yuki Aino, best hair. Yuki Kamifugu, Kamiyu, best gear.
So now we have Kamayu versus Mika Wada for best gear.
Mm, I think, I think because it's new and it's fresh. I really did like Mika's at the time when it first was debuted, but I gotta go with Kamiyu. Yuki Kamifugu gets best gear overall.
And best hair, Yuki Aino versus Eureka Oka.
Mm, that's one a little tougher. I think I gotta lean a little towards one half of my favorite tag team, Bob Bob Momo, and I think Yuki, or sorry, Yuki, I can't even say Eureka
Eureka.
Oka. Eureka Oka wins best hair overall.
Yeah, a lot of Yukis. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of Eurekas. Yeah, and we're 2 hours in this podcast. All right, my friend.
yeah,
I think since we're blown up, I
hmm
think we should take this one home. Again, not
yeah.
listen anything else you want to talk about, good sir.
I think we covered all we can cover in this nearly, actually over 2 hour podcast. So if you want to find me on Facebook or Instagram, just search Andy Header. I'll come right up at Blue Sky. I'm AH24. And Twitter, X, whatever you'd like to call it, I am at Get Some Header, pun intended.
Folks, question, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and bestest way to get a hold of me. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Matt Turner over there, as well as M Turner on TikTok. Folks, you can also get a hold of me on the email, matt@worldofjoshi.com, as well as the Stardomcast 22 at gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for what was an absolutely fantastic episode. Go back and watch Daydream versus Mizuki versus Uda Takami. And folks, don't forget, we always appreciate your support. Can't do without you. It's like I always say, it's just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because we're all together and everybody's different. Everybody's special.